One of the best nights in the NBA and in the middle of one of the most chaotic months the NBA will have seen in a long time. Tonight, the 2025 NBA Draft, a night whose consequences will be felt across the association for decades. And we're here to break it all down. Joe Henry joined by Kate Cox, George Sfouggatakis. We've got Owen Kelty and Trey Rodriguez rounding out our panel in the production room for now. Guys, how thrilled are you to be able to kick things off tonight?
So excited to be here. This is a great day of the year, my favorite sport. So excited to see what tonight holds. Our number one is, kind of solid pick, but the rest of the night is kind of up for excitement and surprise. I'm excited.
It was a hot day in New York today. It's going to be a hot night for basketball. A lot of interesting things on the docket, especially with trades and drama going on with some of the top prospects. So I'm excited to be here with everyone here to discuss it.
A lot of moments in which the temperatures could rise tonight, especially even just looking inside those top 10 picks, and we'll dig into that in just a moment. The draft starts at 8 p.m. Eastern. We're here 7:30. We're probably going to be covering you up till as late as 10 p.m. Eastern time, and we're going to keep the phone lines open too. If you want to join the conversation, give your take, dial 718-817-2750. That's 718-817-2750. Guys, it's a loaded class and a deep class too. It's one ripe with storylines. Let's look no further, though, than the cream of the crop. It's kind of a slam dunk pick, quite literally. Cooper Flagg, and number one, the Duke prospect. He's got a really high floor, but he also has a pretty high ceiling, too. It's a guy who's drawn comparisons to the likes of Scottie Pippen, a Hall of Famer, Jason Tatum, a future Hall of Famer, someone who's...
Borderline.
Okay. All right. I see how it is. He knows the jersey I'm wearing, and we're already getting into this. Regardless, Cooper Flagg is seen as the consensus number one guy, and he's been seen as the consensus number one guy since Sam Presti would start thinking about players. That's middle school. He's been the guy this draft class for nearly a decade now, and he stays there at number one, and that's who the Dallas Mavericks are going to take. Just what kind of impact do you expect him to make to a Dallas team that kind of, by luck, landed this number one overall pick?
I mean, I think the best way to describe him is as a complete player. He is everything you would want in a player for this team, especially. You've got Anthony Davis coming off of an injury this year. They have a stacked roster once he joins this team, and I think he's really going to play well alongside Irving and Davis. I think Davis and him will be really great on the front end of the court, getting there, and I mean, a great stacked team. He wasn't expecting to go to Dallas. That was never really part of their conversations. His family's talked about it a lot. And they were all very surprised to find out about Dallas and very happy about it because he's not used to losing. And Dallas is a team that's also not used to losing, especially in recent years. So it seems like they're going to pair hand in hand really nicely.
I have one qualm when it comes to that Dallas team, the lack of a five. Because Anthony Davis has openly said he does not enjoy playing as the five. And you're putting Coop at the four. Like, he is a built four. He's too big, too strong to play a three. And when you have a guy like that at the four with a guy who doesn't like to play the five, it just raises some concerns with what Dallas has to do throughout the rest of the offseason. Because right now, they don't seem like a championship contender to me, even with Cooper Flagg.
Dallas doesn't have all of the answers, but I will say that compared to your average number one overall selector, Dallas is in a much better situation, no doubt. And I'm not saying that you could even argue that.
No, definitely not at all. But
here's where, and I don't mean to make too many comparisons here to the guy whose name is striped across my back. Jason Tatum, similar situation where the Celtics held the number one overall pick, traded back to the 3 to grab Tatum. A really good team. Mavericks maybe not the level that the Celtics were in 2017, but still a very talented team. And Flagg, much like Tatum, another Duke guy, profiles as someone who doesn't need to be the guy. And we'll talk about a guy who may feel differently. That's Ace Bailey. Let's dig into that, guys. This is the number one storyline of this draft class. Ace Bailey, rumors have it that he doesn't want to go to Philly. He canceled his workout there. He doesn't even want to go to Utah or to Charlotte. Projections have him going maybe to the Wizards, maybe to the Pelicans, maybe even dropping all the way to 8.
He also said he didn't want to play for, he said he would play for the Pelicans, which is confusing because they're not really in the spot that I would expect.
They have a couple ball dominant guys, Jordan Poole and Zion Williamson.
Most definitely. And that Jordan Poole trade surprised me big time. But that's a conversation for another time. Ace Bailey, as good as he's said to be, he just reminds me so much of Shedeur Sanders right now. and And I know he's not going to drop to the 5th round or wherever Shedeur went. If I don't remember off the top of my head, don't really pay attention to him that much except the headlines. But if Ace Bailey keeps this ego power trip up, it's just not. It can only bode negative for him. He has to back it up with the play. And I know Owen's going to flame me, but I don't see his game translating as well to the NBA as someone like Dylan Harper or VJ Edgecombe. I watched so many lackadaisical defensive plays from Rutgers this year that I don't have the faith in him that other people might have. Yeah. Do I want him to go high? Of course, because he's talent. He has talent. He has such a high ceiling, but he's not in the point where he should be demanding things like this by any means.
Bailey's a guy who's seen by pretty much every draft prospect as top 3, maybe top 4. He's seen by many to be the guy with the highest ceiling. You mentioned Dylan Harper. He might be the guy with the lowest floor out of those top 3. Kate, what do you think?
He's the most NBA-ready player in the draft.
Harper?
Yeah.
I think Flag might have him beat there, but I'd say that Harper is certainly a close second, and that's why these are the guys locked in at 1 or 2. Kate, how do you think that Ace Bailey would impact a team, whether you were to go to a team that's already very good in the Sixers or a team that really needs some help scoring the ball like the Washington Wizards?
I've got to be honest, I really like Ace Bailey. I think anybody that's spoken to him, all of his teammates, all speak really, really highly of him. I think this pre-draft nature, the way that they've been going about this, is more so his team rather than him himself. I think his family's involved. I think his team's really involved and kind of shaping the way that he's going about this. But everybody that talks about him, his coaches, his teammates, the people that he's talked to, love him. And he's fun. He just seems like he loves basketball at the end of the day. And he's someone you want to invest in. I think he's a risk because of, a lot of situations. I think he has the scoring instincts, but he, on this decision making, and he's made a lot of mistakes in this past year. So that's definitely a struggle, but he seems like the kind of guy that I would want to work with and develop. I would want to take the risk with him because at the end of the day, I think naturally among all of these players, he is the most natural basketball player and would be not easy to develop, but he's the kind of guy that I would invest in developing because I think he could be useful for any of these teams.
What happens with Ace Bailey might be the story that defines tonight as we look forward even decades into the future. But that's not the only storyline that we have going on in this draft. It's a draft that has been kind of defined in the past few days by chaos, by tumult. We've seen a lot, too many trades to keep up with happen. The last 3 days, the Celtics involved in some. The Atlanta Hawks landed Kristaps Porzingis. The Nets have acquired a 5th first-round pick, which we'll talk a little bit more about in a little bit, and Terrence Mann as well. There's reports of several teams hell-bent on trading up. There's teams like the Nets who have all the assets to facilitate a trade, whether they wanted to go up or to go down. Guys, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a couple moments tonight where our jaws just hit the floor.
For sure, definitely. And if there's one team I want to keep an eye on, I see the Spurs trading the 14th pick. I don't see a world in where they keep that pick. They're gonna trade that with a piece for a center, for a big man. And with drafting Dylan Harper, you're able to run Dylan Harper at the 1 and let De'Aaron Fox be a ball dominant scorer. That's the future I foresee with San Antonio, and they're a team that I want to see succeed because they've had so many. They've had so much bad luck with Victor going down, and then you make a move and you pick up De'Aaron Fox and you don't do much with it. The Spurs need to make a push now, and I see them trading that 14 pick with a piece to pick up a big that's going to put them in playoff position.
The Spurs are one of the teams that's in prime position to become a winner of the draft. You talked about this unfortunate stretch that they had in December and January when Wembanyama went down, when Greg Popovich ended up going out, and now he has to transition to being the president of the team. Kate, the Spurs still are a team that's on the rise. They have the Rookie of the Year in Stephon Castle. They have the Rookie of the Year prior in Victor Wembanyama, and they have a chance to secure a 3rd straight Rookie of the Year this year in Dylan Harper, and they have one more pick at number 14. What's the Spurs' approach here, and just how much better do you think they can get in the course of one night?
I mean, grabbing Dylan Harper in and of itself is going to help them so much. Whatever they do with the 14th pick, I'm more focused on Dylan Harper and what he's going to do. Like you said, he's very NBA ready. He's got the attitude. The way he speaks is very, honest. He's good to talk to. And he seems like he's got the character, he's got the grit, and he has the talent. He's very ready for the NBA, and I see him being very successful on that team for sure.
Well, we have a panel of 5 folks in here, but we actually have a 6th man off the bench, too, in Barclays. That's Chris Carrino, our NBA draft correspondent, live at Barclays Center for the NBA draft here in 2025. Chris is on the line right now. Chris, what do you got for us?
Hey, Joe. Well, yeah, I'm meeting you guys here from the media room at Barclays Center. They kind of use the makeshift practice court here as a media room, and this is where most of the media is kind of congregating. They have a few team booths to the right, I believe 4 with step and repeats. I think those are going to be interviews for players as they're coming in and out. To our left is the major press conference kind of area. They split the room in half with a large drape. So that'll be where players are going directly after they're drafted. So we'll make sure to get content there. But it's been fantastic. I'm really honored to be here representing FUV. I just saw our commander-in-chief, Bobby Chaffardini, not two minutes ago. And yeah, I walked past Cooper Flagg in the hallway down here. He's looking very sharp with a suit with a tie. A lot of guys are going no tie, but he's going full tie today. And it's interesting. A lot of what this first round is kind of unknown. I think the Nets are a team that you have to keep an eye on, obviously through my bias, but also a team with 5 first-round picks. There's a lot of opportunity there to not only trade, but also, maybe even drafting 5 first-rounders, which would be unprecedented. And just in general, with the Ace Bailey sort of drama going around, there's an endless amount of stories that are going around almost everywhere here at Barclays Center.
Chris, if you could just elaborate quickly before we let you go, and you'll be checking back in throughout the night with the biggest storylines, getting us an inside scoop, but what's been the atmosphere so far? What's been the vibe like? I know usually the NBA draft, at least before it begins, is a joyous atmosphere.
Yeah, it's a pretty joyous atmosphere upstairs in the main entrance where you would usually come in for a Brooklyn Net game or any other event here at Barclays Center. They had a red carpet set up where all the players were taking pictures and getting a few questions. Jared McCain was out there interviewing some of the rookies as well. Right next to it, the New Era store, I bought the Nets draft hat this year. It's a very good draft hat this year, so I had to purchase. And downstairs, it's mostly media people. You see PR people from teams going back and forth. A lot of uncertainty with this event in comparison to others. Teams don't know who their team is going to draft, who they're going to have to be posting content for tonight, and who they're going to have to start publicizing. They really aren't sure yet. I think that's the beauty of this sort of event, and it's really all over the place. I think I saw at least one jersey from all 30 teams on the concourse. And, yeah, there's a real energy in the building tonight. I think this draft, for a lot of people, is special, and there's a certain vibe, there's a certain buzz in the building right now that something special could happen.
Chris, I have a quick question. In the house,
quick answer.
Where are they? What's the word on Ace Bailey, inside of the draft rooms and the media room right now?
Ace Bailey, I think, well, in draft rooms and in organizations right now, I think Ace Bailey is almost a do not touch from a certain point of view. I think from a character perspective, teams haven't loved how his workout situation has gone, picking and choosing what workouts he's taking. Teams tend to not love that. But with that said, I think the few teams he said he is interested in around that top 10, I think those organizations are very interested. I think someone is going to look to maybe get a steal here with Ace Bailey dropping a little bit. He's a hell of a natural talent, and he would definitely be a steal outside the top 3 on just natural ability. It just matters, it just has to do with sort of how he's developed. But as strictly just a prospect, I think he still has a ton of value. I just think some teams might be weary due to how much power he kind of had over his own process here before the draft.
Appreciate it.
Chris, thanks so much for calling in. We're going to be in touch throughout the entire night. You're going to have the inside scoop for us. But for now, we're going to head to a quick break. We'll be back with more coverage from the NBA draft here on WFUV Sports.
What's up, everybody? It's Tucker Austin, one of WFUV Sports' New York Yankees beat reporters in 2025. Aaron Judge and company are hungry to return to the Fall Classic to avenge their defeat last season. Follow me on X at @Taustin_24 for live game updates, video recaps, and more as the Bronx Bombers chase their 28th World Series championship. WFUV Sports is your home for everything New York Yankees.
What's up, everyone? It's Joe Henry, one of your New York Mets beat reporters for the 2025 MLB season. From Soto's slugging to Senga's strikeouts, I'll have you covered from Citi Field all year long. Follow me on X at JoeHenry_4 for exclusive interviews, game day insights, and live coverage of every play. So take a ride on the 7 train with me as the Mets continue their quest for World Series glory. WFUV, your home for New York sports.
We are back with the NBA Draft Special. I'm Owen Kelty, joined by Sfouggatakis and Trey Rodriguez. And we're going to hop more onto the local teams right now. And with the Knicks season coming to an end, I know a lot of Nets talk tonight. They have 5 first-round picks. They're the talk of the town for once in a rare while. People are focused on the Nets, 5 first-round picks. They acquired another one yesterday. But we're going to focus on the Knicks right now. The New York Knicks do not have a head coach currently. The last time a team didn't have a head coach, actually, surprisingly, was only last year when the Detroit Pistons fired Monty Williams and then made a pick without him. But the Knicks have begun their coaching search this week. They fired Tom Thibodeau. I believe it was about two-ish weeks ago, George?
About 2.5 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, 2.5 weeks ago. And right now, no coach. They've interviewed Mike Brown, Taylor Jenkins, James Borrego, and Micah Norris, the assistant coach of the Timberwolves, James Borrego, the assistant coach of the Pelicans, and then obviously Taylor Jenkins and Mike Brown, the fired coaches of the Grizzlies and Kings. There's been a lot of talk around Jason Kidd, so I'm gonna just throw it out there. I'll go to you, George, first. I know you're our resident Knicks fan. I am too, but Trey, Raptors fan. We'll get to him a little bit with the Raptors pick. But where do the Knicks need to go with this head coaching search? I've seen a lot about Jason Kidd's that veteran, or do they need to go younger with offense, especially? Or opposite Tibbs. Where do you think they need to go with this head coaching search?
I like Mike Norrie.
Mm-hmm.
He took over when Peter Finch went down, and it was, and he led a team that's a difficult team to lead. That Timberwolves team last year was a difficult team. They were clicking, but they also had their internal issues, and I like what he did with them. I think he took over for 2 games in those playoffs, I believe, when Peter Finch went down, and I believe they went 1-1 in those games. And I like Mike Norrie because he's not too old, but he's also not too young. He's a perfect middle ground, and I believe that with the right system behind him, he'll succeed as a coach. And I feel like New York is a city where the coach is the heart of the team. Like, the coach has to control a lot more than just the players. They have to control the noise, the publicity, and the buzz just around the Knicks, because the Knicks are the most followed team in the world. So it's just a difficult path, but if you want to go with someone with more experience, I would go with Taylor Jenkins, because I like what he did with that Grizzlies team. Even though they didn't go super far in the playoffs, he led them to the place that they are today, which is a contender, and a contender with an asterisk on it, because things are in the air with Desmond Bane leaving. But the Grizzlies are a good team, and they have the talent to do things, and that's because of Taylor Jenkins and how he built it.
And I'll throw it over to you, Trey, as someone who is a fan of a team who pretty recently went through a head coaching search. Where do you think the Knicks should go with this direction with the coaching?
I like Mike Brown a lot. He 2 years ago led Sacramento to the 3rd seed, and pretty convincingly as well. And this season, when he did get fired, it was a huge outrage in the media. Everyone thought that there was no reason for him to get fired. I don't think there was a reason for him to get fired. That was not really the coach's fault. That was more the team just kind of underperforming. But I think for sure Mike Brown is the first option they should go to. We're talking about experience here. He's been a head coach before, and he's done a pretty good job at it. So I think he'd be a very safe option to go for over someone like Micah Norrie or something. But I think if there's one person not to go to, it's Borrego. I used to watch the Hornets a lot, 3 years ago, and he was a terrible coach for them. It was not good watching it. He allowed LaMelo Ball to kind of become the player that he is today, which is just chucking up shots and and just having a very guard-centric offense, and that really kind of just puts away the 4 and the 5 away from the offensive game plan. So I think Borrego is definitely a no-go, but I want to see Mike Brown in the Knicks. I kind of totally forgot he was in the coaching market because there's no reason why a coach that good should be on the coaching market.
Mike Malone.
That's
Mike
true.
Malone
Mike Malone
also
too.
is available.
That's,
I think
that's my numero
I
uno,
disagree with that.
number one. Pick him up. I don't know what's going on here, but
There's a 0% chance that Mike Malone would be the next head coach of the New York Knicks.
Why is that?
why?
Just because his coaching style, not play style, his coaching style is very similar to Thibodeau. Nuggets fans had this pretty similar complaints about young guys not playing, not long enough rotations. The only intriguing thing about him, which I think is the same kind of intriguing thing about Norris, is that he worked with a point guard center combo that isn't great defensively. And if the Knicks keep their roster the same, which we're going to talk about in a second, they're going to be with that point guard center combo that is bad defensively. Minnesota kind of had that. I mean, they had Cat with Micah Norris there, and then Mike Conley and Anthony Edwards as point guards. Anthony Edwards is an okay defender, not as bad as Brunson, but those are guys with experience working with bad defenders and having success. But I still don't see them going Mike Malone
won a
because
championship
he won a championship
With the best player in the world.
with the best.
He had the best player in the world.
One of the best players in the Eastern Conference.
Not in the
Yeah,
world.
Jalen
not in the
Brunson.
world though. But if you look at I want to talk about their roster construction. Talk about the way in the playoffs the Knicks got exposed. They had a bad offensive center, or bad defensive center, bad defensive point guard. Looking at this draft, the Knicks hold one draft pick. They hold the 50th pick. There's been talks
Useless.
of maybe trying to get up earlier in the
Jokic.
second
It's-
round.
the 50th pick in the draft is useless. Like not every team is gonna come out with a Tom Brady like
No.
the Patriots did. Like
So, but when you look at this team, I would say this roster, as of right now, barring any crazy trades, is pretty much set. The 50th pick isn't really gonna matter that much. So, looking at this roster construction, I think you still have your same core players. There's been talks that Mikal Bridges and Mitch Robinson have both been in trade talks due to them being extension eligible. So, it's gonna be a interesting offseason for the Knicks. Interesting draft night to see if they even make that second round pick. There's a chance we've seen the Knicks move around a lot in the last few drafts. I believe last draft they traded around 6 times. The trade before that it was around 5. So Leon Rose likes to move around the draft. He can move up, he can move down, he might move out. But the Knicks roster, as of right now, is pretty set. They made 4 picks last year.
center needs to be the next.
See,
move.
but I disagree with that. I think you've Erla Hukporti is sitting in the waiting area. I think you go.
I love Hukporti so much.
If you make the 50th pick, I think it's got to be another wing. I know that you can think could maybe in the end come with something off the bench because you hope Comdadier and you hope
like a Deuce
that,
McBride type or like a.
You think another guard?
Well, like are you talking about like a 2-guard wing or like a?
I mean
three?
like a
three.
three wing, like another big like long guy to put next to Mikal Bridges. I mean, obviously whoever the second or the 50th pick isn't going to play for maybe ever.
Watching Pacom Dadier play last year in Westchester, he has it. He just needs to be developed. He's like
I agree. I think
you know how baseball players are perfect, are too good for AAA, but not ready for the MLB.
Yeah, he's like
this
that.
is exactly what Pacom Dadier is.
Still growing. I think he needs to learn defensively. Like he's got the size, but he's got to learn how to use his size effectively.
He could score. He can turn into a Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby type build.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's 6'8", 210, which is a little less than OG, but a little more than Mikal. So I could see him locking down as a player of that caliber one day. It's not going to be next season.
He's 18
not going to be
years
next
old.
season. It'll be 2 seasons. He has it. I'm telling you right now, mark my words, he got it.
I'm going to agree with you on that one, but
confidence.
I want to move on to who it really should be the focus of tonight. It's the Brooklyn Nets. You know it pains me to say that. We all know I don't like the Brooklyn Nets. But
Carrino's laughing.
Carrino's
right now.
laughing.
Carrino has the biggest
listening.
grin on
He's
his face.
Him and Kurt Sipple are having a great time. But the Nets have 5 first-round picks tonight. They acquired the 22nd pick yesterday in the trade, in the Kristaps Porzingis Hawks trade. The Nets acquired another pick. They hold the 8th pick of the draft. The Nets have a lot of needs right now. As of last year, they fought hard under Jordi Fernandez. They came through with a lot of wins. Some fans would be very upset about the number of wins that they had, but they're playing a lot of guys that aren't household names. You look at who they do have: Cam Thomas, Cam Johnson, Nick Claxton, and
The
Day'Ron
rest are
Sharpe.
nobodies.
It's Day'Ron Sharpe, and then that's really it. So at this 8th pick, I'll go to you, George, first. Like, what is the biggest need for them in with that 8th overall pick, or other ways, do you think they should package everything together and go up higher in the draft to try to get a more marquee guy if it was Ace Bailey's?
The number one question is Nick Claxton playing on the team next year?
Yeah.
That's the number one question.
And is he expendable? I think so with Daron Sharp.
I don't. I love Nick Claxton. As much as I hate the Nets, I think Nick Claxton's a great player, and I think he will be traded to the Los Angeles Lakers.
Really? Nick
Yeah,
Claxton?
I see Nick Claxton to the Lakers. Like, people call me crazy, but he would fit in very well with that quick moving offense, transition based offense that the Lakers have been running with LeBron, even though LeBron can barely move anymore. But I see Nick Claxton fitting into the Lakers system. So, and I also believe that the Nets are making 2 of those first-round picks today and trading the other 3.
I agree. I do think they'll make both of them. Trey, throw it over to you. What do you think the Nets do with that 8th pick, and then what do you think they do with the rest of those picks?
I think center-wise, I think they're going to want to go after Mark Williams.
Ace in the well?
We saw Mark Williams on a table, right, for the Hornets when he was getting traded to the Lakers, and then the trade got rescinded. But I think the Hornets are going to try to get him out of here. They already tried to get him out, so why not send him to the Nets? And I think he'll be a very good addition to the Nets. He's a complete board boss out there. He grabs so many rebounds a game. I think really that's the Nets' main target for center-wise. I think it'd be a lot better to go for him than really anyone else. I think I'd rather go for him than go to the draft for centers. If you're going to the draft for centers, if you're going to trade up those picks, like I know me and Kelty earlier were talking about trading up into the lottery with some of those picks, and maybe going after like a Thomas Sorber or like even like a Derek Queen. I think come on, maybe the number 8 pick, maybe the number 8 pick. But
people also think they're going to pick up Trey Johnson.
They need a guard.
Then you take Trey Johnson at the 8.
If Trey Johnson
if he doesn't go earlier.
Jeremiah Fears, if either of them are
Jeremiah Fears is going earlier.
I'm saying you
really the Jazz
are going to pick up Fears.
But you really need more guard play, especially Cam Thomas can score. He can hoop. He's not like a point guard. No. And he's also not. He's a good combo guard. But you need that guy that solidify as your guard of the future. The Nets need a lot in this draft, but you can't ever make 5 first-round picks in a draft. It'll be interesting to see what picks they decide to move, and if it's for future first, moving around, packaging to move up in this draft. It'll be interesting to see.
But then you also look what the GM is thinking. Is the GM thinking, is this a win now year?
No,
this is not a win now year. No, but they won more games than people expected.
I think it'd be interesting to see.
Did you not expect the Nets to be like one of the front runners for the number 1 seed?
I thought they were going to be one of the worst teams.
They had a good beginning of the year. They had a good beginning of the year, but they were terrible the rest of the year.
Yeah, and then at the end they scratched a couple together.
Exactly. Yeah, like
that's good coaching. That's not.
No, but I'm thinking, do you like push for like a play-in, or do you take another year completely slow? Because then you have to think, do you take a risk with one of those lower first-round picks and get a player who you think you could develop into that type of talent?
I would, if I were putting me in the shoes of the GM of the,
which would be a horrible world.
Would be a terrible world if I was the GM of the Brooklyn Nets. I would look to move some of those first for future first, and then see, because you still don't know if Giannis is going to come available. You don't know what other stars are going to ask out. I think pushing your first round picks down the line and continuing to get more assets, similar to what the Thunder do, is better than just making those picks.
No one can replicate what Sam Presti does.
No, but I'm saying like you want to push those assets and those picks down the line, and then hopefully cash those in for a known star. Then, like, what are the odds of picks 17 through 19 or 29 becoming a star, or being able to entice a team with 7 first-round picks for an actual star player?
That's a good idea, actually.
Like move them down the road.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
No, I fully do.
Maybe
only 2 minutes till the first pick.
I know.
Oh, baby.
We got 2 more minutes. We're gonna take a quick break before we get to the first overall pick, and the Dallas Mavericks will be on the clock. It's not a shock who they're going to pick, but we will be right back with the NBA Draft Special.
Hey guys, Grace McCarran here with Jack Warner.
And we're 2 of your hosts for Nosebleeds, WFUV's one and only baseball podcast.
We'll keep you in the loop on all tri-state news with the Yankees and Mets,
as well as the biggest headlines from around the MLB.
Catch weekly episodes of Nosebleeds on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Take a trip around the bases with Nosebleeds on WFUV Sports.
Hey, this is Chris Carrino, Fordham and WFUV class of 1992. WFUV is your home for all things Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to our Saturday show, One-on-One. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV sports.
Welcome back to the NBA Draft Special. Once again, I'm Owen Kelty, joined by George Sfouggatakis and Trey Rodriguez. And on the clock with the first overall pick of the 2025 draft is the Dallas Mavericks. The pick hasn't been made yet, but he's in a minus 100,000 odds on the betting markets. We all know who it's going to be. It's going to be Cooper Flagg. So instead of speculating, I think what we should do is look at what this Dallas Mavericks roster is going to look like with the addition of Cooper Flagg. Kyrie Irving is out for majority of the year. He should be back around the end of the year.
Yeah, right after the All-Star break.
Playoff time,
yeah.
and right after the All-Star break. And with the addition of Cooper Flagg, I think this has to be one of the best rosters in the NBA all around.
Absolutely.
And they have a lot of expendable pieces. They just extended P.J. Washington to a very tradable contract. I'm going to throw it to you first, Trey. Where does this roster with Cooper Flagg, what's he going to bring to this team? And where does this roster rank with him on it? And do you think he'll be an immediate impact starter, or you think him going to a winning team is going to be kind of detrimental to him becoming a star right away?
And he's definitely going to be a starter right away. He's going to be a starter right away. I think it might take him a little bit to get to that star level, but he's definitely going to be a star, and he's going to have a huge impact on the team immediately, especially with Kyrie Irving now. Someone's going to need to step up and take up that role. Obviously, he's not a point guard, but,
he could be ball dominant.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
That's what he did, too. He brought the ball up a ton.
And I think, offensively, he's great. He's great offensively and defensively, but I think he's going to fit really well into, what the Mavericks are trying to build over there, which is like a defensive first team. And that's going to be a really scary defense. They have and I think the Mavericks too is they have great size, right?
Their
they have
length is incredible.
So many centers that they really need to get rid of one of them eventually. But a lot of centers, a lot of forwards. It's going to be really hard to drive into the paint against them. And I think Cooper Flagg is going to fit super well into that system. I think really where the Mavericks will end up once Kyrie eventually gets back. I think even without Kyrie, they're going to be doing really good throughout the regular season. Once he comes back, they could be one of the best teams in the league easily. I think it's like that's just going to happen. West is a bit tough. They might finish third or fourth at the end of the season because this Mavericks roster is ridiculous with Cooper.
I have such mixed opinions on the Dallas Mavericks.
Why is that?
I just feel as if I don't have the faith that Kyrie is going to click with Cooper like that. I think if everything works out, they're going to be a great team. But I also feel like they're too big.
I think that's why someone has become expendable between Derek Lively, P.J. Washington, Najee Marshall too. That's a lot of power. I mean, if you look at starting lineup,
they don't have the guards. That's
projected
the thing.
starting lineup.
They got Max Christie.
Max Christie off the bench.
Max Christie's good.
Max Christie is good. A good bench off the guard. Good guard off the bench. He's only 22, but the projected starting lineup when healthy, I would assume, would be Kyrie Irving, Klay Thompson, Cooper Flagg.
We got Klay Thompson starting in the NBA.
I mean, is he going to come off the bench?
This year you saw how mediocre
he is. Yeah, but he's
is.
making so much money. I don't understand how you can
has to be a starter.
Think of an excuse to not.
I know, but
start
he's
him.
just mediocre. He's not that guy anymore.
I don't know. As a Klay Thompson though, as a strictly with Kyrie Irving, Cooper Flagg,
you just run the corner and shoot the ball.
Anthony Davis, and
every team needs that guy.
Whoever your center is,
you don't want that starting. You don't want that starting.
No, yeah,
just the guy sitting in the corner.
No, because you don't need him to
he's
dribble. You don't need him to handle the ball. You'd have Kyrie, Cooper
cone.
Flagg. Anthony Davis has shown he can be able to bring the ball up.
2025 Cooper Flagg is a cone.
What?
Cooper Flagg.
Not Cooper Flagg. 25
Okay.
Klay Thompson is a cone. Is a cone.
Yeah, but you can make up for his bad defense when you have Cooper Flagg, Anthony Davis, and Derek Lively on the floor.
You need one other guard.
P.J. Washington, who just signed an extension.
One or two other guards.
So I think $20 million a year or something like that. $15 million a year.
One or two other guards, and that team is legit.
So you trade P.J. Washington away for a guard.
Yes.
Something like yeah.
Yes.
A starting
and then I'm sold. then I'm completely sold.
He'll also get rid of Dwight Powell, but he's not gonna get you much.
No. I want to talk about though, what's Cooper Flagg's rookie year ceiling? If he's going to the Wizards, you're like, this guy's going to be.
If he goes to the Wizards, he's going 40.
But I'm saying he's averaging high points. He's taking every shot. When you're going to a team that has championship aspirations, that's going to change what you're expecting from Cooper Flagg. So, what are reasonable expectations to put on who's been deemed the greatest American prospect since LeBron?
17 and 6. 17.6 rebounds. 2 assists, 3 assists,
17.
and a block and a block and a steal.
Oh, and we just got an announcement from Joe Henry. The pick is in.
NBA draft belongs to the Dallas Mavericks, who have 5 minutes to make their selection.
Oh wait.
Boo.
No. Now,
come on, Joe.
Joe.
Come
led
on,
me astray.
Joe.
He baited me. Adam Silver baited me.
Adam Silver lied to us. The Dallas Mavericks are now officially on the clock. They waited till 8:05. Classic NBA on ESPN. Never starting anything on time. Let's start something 15 minutes
1
late
minute, 1
every
minute, and
single
they'll
time.
and they'll put the pick in.
Anyway, so let's go back to what his expectations are. I think he'll have some inflated stats with Kyrie Irving being out, but then if he averages 17 points, I think that's a clear rookie of the year.
Yeah.
And I think that's an exceptional rookie year from him.
Especially with Harper being second overall pick, and he's on the Spurs too, and that Spurs team's actually pretty decent.
similar.
Honestly,
I like that team. I was talking about it before. I love that team.
I think the only other person, if Harper was on like a Wizards type of team, I think he may be a rookie of the year because he's on such a bad team, but because he's on the Spurs, almost as good as the Mavericks, really. I think that I'm pretty sure Cooper Flag is going to lock up rookie of the year pretty easily. But I agree with you. I think maybe get 18 points per game.
VJ Edgecombe.
No way. I think he's not even really. He shouldn't really be the third overall pick. He's gonna be, but that's Ace Bailey. But Ace Bailey should be a bit
VJ
stupid.
Edgecombe should be 5.
But that's probably fair to say. I think Cooper Flagg's more of an 18 points per game, maybe like 6 boards or something, a couple of assists. And then I agree with you too. Probably a steal and a block.
Yeah, like I don't think he's gonna be the rookie of the year, but I see him putting that up for the first year, and then everything is just gonna explode after that. After that first year, everything is literally going to explode, and he's gonna become the best.
Who else would possibly be rookie of the year with that stat line though?
Dylan Harper's gonna put up 16, 3, and like 8 or 9
he has
assists.
to share minutes with Castle and De'Aaron Fox.
Yes, but he's gonna have that. He has the pedigree. And he's not going to really share minutes with Castle. Castle's going to play the 3.
The Spurs also still are going to be looking at the trade market. They have the second pick. They have the 14th pick.
I said in the intro segment, they're going to trade the 14th.
They're going to take Dylan Harper with the second overall pick. But I think it's going to be interesting to see what they do. They just they didn't trade for De'Aaron Fox. They don't trade for De'Aaron Fox if they know Dylan Harper is coming to them at all. So now it's kind of they have an abundance of guards. They have Jeremy Shochan. So
I see he's on the market for sure.
Yeah, definitely. The Spurs and the Mavericks, them being the first two.
I can't stand watching Jeremy Sochan.
Really, he's fixing his jumper.
I remember when I used to watch a Spurs game, Wemby's first year, and actually whenever Wemby got off the court, it was actually unwatchable. It
was brutal. He has the Julius Randle mentality that he's LeBron.
Whenever he was on the court, he had that kind of impact of the moment they left, that those Spurs team looked like a G League team. It was
bad. It was bad.
They had Sochan running point guard and stuff.
Once Wemby went down, the Spurs. That's really.
Why are they taking 3 minutes to make this pick?
I told you they were going to take a while.
This is brutal.
They're going to use all the 5 minutes.
They have a minute and 41 seconds on the
pick is
clock.
in, but Adam Silver has not entered the stage yet.
Oh, okay.
I spoke it into existence.
Man, they're really. They've known who they've been picking since the day
since the
day they traded Luka.
Yeah, exactly.
Since the day they got rid of Luka, they knew Cooper Flag was coming to the Dallas Mavericks. They're just milking at this point. Does the other team's clock start the second the pick is in, or is it once Adam Silver announces? Anyone know that one? Joe, you got anything on that one?
No.
Not familiar with the minutia.
I think it might be the pick is in. I think it might be the pick is in.
That's the SAT word there, Joe.
Yeah, that's a big word. Because when the NFL does it, they really like to drag out all 10 minutes of every single pick.
Yeah, all right. The clock is still going.
I don't know. I'm excited for Cooper Flag on the Mavericks. I think that lineup, especially once Kyrie comes back, is going to be very dangerous in the West. It's just interesting. Like the top prospect going to a team that was in the finals just a year ago is going to be to see how he develops as a player in general. it would have been so fun to see him on like a Wizards or Jazz.
I know.
Oh,
I prefer to see it on that.
Look at Alex Sarr last year.
Yeah, but Cooper Flag is like
two
10
totally
times.
different
Those
prospects.
are
100%.
polar opposite players
100%.
in any sense. I mean, it is like when you put these guys, like I mean, when Wemby was first on the Spurs, putting these top prospects on bad teams, it makes it so much more interesting. Especially like
because their
but now
stats
they're
are just exploded.
Yeah, but it makes it fun.
Fair enough, but it's nice to see them how they hold up in pressure and everything. That's my perspective.
You mean when they're going to a good team?
Yeah, because you can see how they hold up in the playoffs. How you see it hold up in important games. Like
You're being thrown straight into the fire.
100%. 100%.
You can't just hide in the 7:00 games. Never.
No,
on national TV.
definitely no.
Mavericks are
you
gonna.
can't. What you want to hide with your 13 fans in the Washington
No,
Wizards?
I'm saying
2 of those being your friends. Like what?
The Mavericks are going to be on national TV a lot.
100%.
Especially
I
all
think
of
it'll be
Texas
interesting.
is going to be.
I really, yeah.
Their time is up.
No
their
pick.
time
No
is
pick.
up.
The
No.
pick is in. The time's out.
They're forfeiting.
Yeah,
their
I said they're
pick.
forfeiting
They're
their
forfeiting.
pick.
Come on.
Cooper Flag might be a San Antonio Spurs. That'd be.
That'd be
They
nuts.
forgot. They
That'd be
forgot to call in the pick. That'd be something. Is that
The
ever?
Dallas Mavericks.
Nico Harrison sold
Nico
the bag.
Nico Harris trades the first overall pick for Luka.
The Dallas Mavericks select some random guy
There's
from
they take
who
Ace
played
Bailey
in
with
Germany.
The first overall
They take a
pick.
French guy,
They take a
like always.
He tries to redraft Luka. He's like, we can't do that with the first overall pick. But I mean, Cooper Flag, just him being, he's been a great player.
The Dallas
when he was
Mavericks
in
select
college.
Kasparas Jakicionis.
Oh, Adam Silver's coming on stage.
Here we go.
With the first pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Dallas Mavericks select Cooper Flag
Shocker.
from Duke University.
Wow.
Good job, Nico.
I never saw that
Good
one
job,
coming.
Nico.
Adam
Nico
Silver,
Harris.
I'm so proud of you.
Nico Harris made the right decision. Joe Henry, can we get an update? Are there tears from Cooper Flag?
Eyes obscured by the shoulder of the man he's hugging.
Okay,
More info to come.
got it. That is
Appreciate
going
it,
to
Joe.
be the
Locked
question
in.
of the night. Has the guy who knew he's been going first overall since he was 17 years old going to cry when he gets drafted?
Oh, and I'd like to
Oh.
see you in that situation.
I would bawl my eyes out if I was going to the NBA.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So
But I'm never going to the NBA.
The clock started directly after Adam Silver
Announced it.
announced
Okay,
it.
so now the
Yeah.
San Antonio
4 minutes and 6
Spurs
seconds.
are on the clock. I think we all know where this pick is going.
Yeah.
It's going to go most likely Dylan Harper, point guard, shooting guard out of Rutgers. He-
Imagine
but-
they scream Ace Bailey. Wow.
I think what's interesting about Dylan Harper, obviously the best player in Rutgers last year. He had a true shooting percentage of 59.3. This guy, he's listed as without shoes as 6'4.5". I don't think I believe that. In his pre-interviews,
He's shorter.
no, I think he's
I
taller.
think he's taller.
He was standing next to Ace Bailey, and they were pretty. What Ace Bailey's listed at?
6'7.5".
Yeah, they were standing next to each other. There's not a 3-inch
Ace-
difference.
I know it said Ace like on Rutgers was like 6'9" supposedly, and then when he
Yeah, that was not.
Yeah, that was not true.
They-
He was listed
listed
as
him-
6'9" and 3/4.
and now he's
What's
6,
going on
and now
here?
he's
Yeah, he was
6'7".
shorter. Now, so Dylan Harper is going to be the pick to the San Antonio Spurs. They now have guards galore over there. It'll be interesting. De'Aaron Fox now, Dylan Harper.
That team's gonna be
That's
so.
gonna be
That's gonna be such a
that's gonna be
fun team to
fun-
watch.
That's going to be a fun team to watch.
I might
Wemby
actually
just
have
has
to
a bunch
tap
of
in.
guards to throw lobs to him.
Oh,
gonna
and,
be
and,
amazing.
and you add in Wemby, Stephon Castle, and that's gonna be that's also gonna be a huge team. If you look at Dylan Harper, we're gonna throw him at 6'5". We'll throw him there. You have Stephon Castle at guard, who's 6'6". Then you add in De'Aaron Fox, who's 6'3" at guard. Keldon Johnson. They have an interesting roster.
They're not deep enough. That's the
but
thing.
where do they stand?
They're getting.
Where do
they're
they
getting
stand
They're,
in the
better.
get, they're getting deeper, but they're not deep enough yet.
They still got Vassell too.
Yeah.
He's gonna be traded.
You think?
Yeah.
Because I mean, look, you got everyone that we said, and you got Vassell, and then
Yeah,
also
you got
know,
Chris Paul.
No, he's a free agent.
Oh, he's
He
not coming back.
actually rumored one of his top teams to go to is the Dallas Mavericks.
Oh my God!
would
Is that where people
Oh,
go for their
yeah.
careers to die?
I don't
No,
know,
that'd be solid.
Klay Thompson?
Kyrie's
Klay
replacement for
Thompson?
the meantime,
Kyrie's
you know?
replacement for a while and then come off the bench. I mean, he played 82 games last year. Chris Paul's still. I mean, he's not
He's
Chris.
kicking.
He's still going. 40 years old.
Whenever I look at the Spurs and I see Sandro Mamukelashvili's name, you
Knicks-
know
yeah,
where
he
my
got
mind
30
goes.
Points on the Knicks.
On
Best game
Jalen
ever.
Brunson's 60
basically,
piece.
Basically the best game ever.
On Jalen Brunson's 60 piece.
Uh,
It was disgusting. Absolutely
Yeah.
disgusting.
I actually I don't know if I agree with the depth thing with the Spurs. I actually think they're not pretty deep, but they have some good solid 8-9 guys. I'd probably say.
I do question their depth a little bit. Also, Victor hasn't been able to stay healthy so far through his first 2 years. His first year, he kind of got it was the what was
it knee
It
or
was a lower
shoulder?
body. No, shoulder was this year. He had that
He was pretty healthy the first year. They used to,
first year. Yes, he was healthy the
They
first year.
used to every other game he would sit out.
Yeah. First year he was healthy. Last year he had the blood clot in his shoulder. I think his health is going to be for an entire season. I still don't think they're there yet. I feel there might be another year of a top pick, or even like trading for a star. It's just so hard
I think to be
for
a plan.
them to trade for a star when Wemby's so young, because there's no like you want to match the timeline.
Final minute.
Mhm.
You want because if you look at Giannis is 31 now. Giannis and Wemby, like that team isn't. I don't even if they get Giannis, I don't look at them as a contender right away.
No, you're nuts. You're crazy
Yeah,
for
that's
that. You're
kinda-
no,
that's
no.
kinda-
Owen,
Giannis,
you're
Wemby-
crazy for that. Owen, you're crazy for that.
Giannis,
A contender?
Wemby,
100%.
Any team with Giannis. Any
If
team with
Stephon
Giannis-
Castle's not in the package, which I doubt he'd be.
Oh, Stephon, he would definitely be in a package.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I mean, you're not trading away. You're not getting to trade away your 3 guards that you have, right?
Yeah.
So you at least keep one good guard. I mean, but yeah, that team's a contender to get Giannis on it. I don't care if your depth is horrible. Look what
They're
the
the
Nuggets
Bucks,
do.
It's yeah. Like there's just no way.
Nuggets have no depth. They still do pretty decent. So
Yeah, the Spurs roster though, even if they with Dylan Harper and I still imagine they trade for. I know Joe Henry's not gonna like this one. For
Jaylen
Jaylen
Brown, Jaylen
or
Brown.
They go in for Derek White. Let's hear it.
I don't have anything to say, man. Just keep going.
Speechless.
I didn't know if
speechless.
you were gonna like hate on that one, but I think there's still another piece. Like they're a star. I think they need a star, like the pair next to Wemby and Dylan.
The pick is
Harper.
in.
Is it pick is in?
The pick is in.
Pick is in, but Adam Silver is not on stage yet, which is what we're waiting for. We need to see that bald head walk across the stage. Adam Silver, love you but don't love you as the
I hate him as a GM.
Free David
commissioner.
Stern.
You don't like?
I used to like him, but I hate him now. I think all of his little gimmicks that he makes, like the play-in, like the in-season tournament. I think
There we go.
they're fun for the first.
I like the in-season.
I hate the
tournament.
in-season
I
tournament.
love
That's
the
so
in-season
pointless.
First year, right? They're
It's
fun.
so
When I see
What?
Dylan Harper lifting the trophy of that in-season tournament, I'm gonna be so happy. Rutgers legend. Oh, watching Rutgers go potentially 2-3 as a dude from New Jersey is just too bad they were terrible.
Fraudulent state.
They were terrible.
Fraudulent
last year.
state.
Even with those 2 players on their team.
Jersey's fraudulent.
No, the in-season tournament is just a Darvin Ham. It's just a Darvin Ham.
The
farm.
Darvin, whatever coaching staff Darvin Ham is on,
greatest in-season tournament coach ever.
Where is this guy? Like seriously, come on.
Darvin Ham.
No,
Adam
Silver.
Adam Silver. They just wait. I imagine they're going with Dylan Harper.
Ace Bailey, you are a San Antonio Spur.
After this pick is where the draft gets interesting with the
It's gonna
Sixers
be
on the board.
It's gonna be either Con or VJ. I see
It's
VJ.
gonna be
It's gonna be VJ.
So you think no chance of Ace Bailey?
You know,
No.
I saw something today actually where some GMs are thinking that it might be a smokescreen that the Sixers are throwing up, so this way no one trades up for Ace. But I still think it's gonna be
Adam
VJ.
Silver is walking across the stage.
Oh, here we
Second pick
go.
is in.
With the second pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the San Antonio Spurs select Dylan Harper.
Wow.
From
There we
Rutgers
go.
University.
Another shocker. Oh wait,
Wow.
Joe Henry. Update on tiers. Anything.
The 19-year-old
Tier watch?
Dylan Harper out of Rutgers.
It's
This
obfuscated.
is, of course, a
Oh,
family
they're-
and a
they're
team
blocking their eyes.
that Ace Bailey cheers him on, that knows this process
That's
and
very
stage
unfortunate.
well.
I would
Oh
love to
yeah,
see
the clock
Dylan-
started. Clock
Clock
started.
started. All
automatically,
right. Now on the clock is with the 3rd overall pick, the Philadelphia 76ers, who last year, obviously with the 3rd overall pick, were terrible. But when you look at their roster, they have a really good roster. They have the former MVP Joel Embiid, whose knees are kind of gone now at this point, but who knows? He's still a former MVP. They have Podcast P, Paul George, who knows how he's going to be looking into next year. But now we have them potentially adding Ace Bailey to this team, or VJ Edgecombe, or you went with who? Con Kneppel?
Okay, I see Con.
Where do you see that fit with the team?
I just see that Con is NBA ready, and he's a guard who I feel like he's like a shooting first trigger man, and I feel like they need that because they have like slashers through Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain, and I feel like someone that can spot up and shoot is perfect.
I don't think they need a shooter. They already have all.
They have Maxey, they have Jared McCain, Paul George.
Paul George isn't real.
We are adding
Substitution.
subbing
on the
in. We're
bench.
making a substitution. we are subbing out George Sfouggatakis and tapping in Joe Henry from the booth to tap in for the 3rd overall pick, the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, we'll right to you, Joe. Thoughts on the 76ers pick? Who are they going with, and who should they go with?
Man, it's tough to say. In my big board, I have Ace Bailey at number 3. I do think that he is the best prospect remaining right now. I think he's the guy with the highest ceiling, but a guy who is a combination of a high ceiling and an NBA-ready floor and someone who can contribute in a spot the Sixers need. That's VJ Edgecombe. For me, I think he's the best pick. I like Concanipple. I think that he's a guy who is very NBA-ready. I think he's the highest floor besides the 2 guys that have already been taken. But for me, Edgecombe is a guy who combines Knipple's floor with a ceiling that rivals Ace Bailey's. So Knipple's a guy who I think can turn into a starting caliber 3, but is he ever going to be a star player? I don't think he's ever going to be good enough to pay off a top 5 value. Now, I still have him ranked as my number 6 guy. If they pick him here, given the talent that they have, I don't hate that pick. But for my money, I think VJ Edgecombe is a guy who, 1, fills needs now, and 2, could be a superstar down the line.
Yeah, I really agree with you on that one. 56 true shooting percentage for him at Baylor as a freshman. Very good player. I think the whole Ace Bailey kind of being in and out about what he wants to do, canceling his draft workout last week with the 76ers. Is that a guy that you want to add to a roster like the 76ers that's already pretty...
They got a lot of drama.
I'd say like some drama, especially with Embiid always being hurt, and then the whole Paul
Podcast
George
P,
being
podcast
P. I just think it'll be interesting to see how the 76ers rebound going into next year. Are they going to be a bad team again? I don't see it happening. Joel Embiid will be back. Paul George probably will be good again. I mean, I want to go to you, Trey. What do you think this team needs right now with this pick?
I mean, I definitely think they need someone who's ready to come in and play right away because, like you were saying, the Sixers team is really good. They just got hurt last year. Even before they got the 3rd overall pick this year, last year I was saying this team's going to be one of the best in the East. Obviously, they got a huge injury bug and everyone got hurt. But I think the starting roster they already have is really good. Their bench might be a little bit weak, but I think for sure VJ Edgecombe is definitely the number 1 guy to be going for. Crazy athleticism. If you got anyone who has crazy athletics, that means their ceiling for them could be infinite. Athleticism matters so much, and the fact that he already is a knockdown spot up shooter. I know George was saying that. Oh, take Concanipple for that because he's a good shooter. VJ Edgecombe, he can't create his own shot, but he is a good spot up, and he's a great slasher as well. He can play at all levels. I think that he's a pretty good pick just for them just to fill in the role, maybe become like a 6th, 7th man or something like that, and just be part of a contender right away. It's really what Cooper Flagg's going into, and not exactly what Harper's going into, but these first 3 picks, all very good teams, and I think VJ is a perfect pick for the Sixers.
Yeah, the 76ers aren't looking for necessarily a star right now. They're a playoff team. They should be a playoff team already with the roster that they have, but they're just looking to round out this roster and try to capitalize off the Joel Embiid years. Like, they haven't at all. He's been there for now, what is it, 10 years?
Yeah.
He's been there 10, 11 years, and they've never gotten to the Eastern Conference Finals. And they need to add to this roster more athleticism, especially with Paul George aging. They thought, like, a similar player to what VJ Edgecombe is, they thought they were getting that in Paul George, him being that defensive wing, 2-way player, and he wasn't that last year. He was always out. I believe Maxey, Paul George, and Embiid played, it might have been less 10 or like between 10 and 15 games together total. And that's supposed to be your big 3. Tyrese Maxey is a very bright future in Philadelphia. He's the star there now, I think, over Joel Embiid. But looking at what them going forward, if they add a VJ Edgecombe, I think, where do you guys have them in the East? Because the East is wide open. You have to remember that.
East is wide open this year. I don't think the moves are done. There's still questions about if Paul George is going to have a future. Yeah. The pick is in for the Sixers. I don't think Adam Silver's walked out there yet, but I will say it did take them well over 3 minutes to take this pick. Cannot say the same for the Mavericks and the Spurs, so perhaps that indicates that they didn't have 100% conviction of the guy that they end up taking. I will say before Silver walks up here, Edgecombe is a guy who can slot in. He's probably the best defender in this entire draft class, so he can slot in on day one and impact your game there. But he's also a guy who's developed a pretty decent handle. He still needs to work out there. He's also a really solid playmaker already through 1 year at Baylor. he's someone who can be kind of a secondary ball handler next to Tyrese Maxey. He's even a guy who I think could develop into someone who can lead your second unit towards the end of his rookie year. That's something the Sixers badly need. Their reserves for their backcourt, it's Jared Butler, Eric Gordon, Ricky Council, Kyle Lowry's a free agent. He might retire. That's it. So they need another guy that can handle the ball, that can make plays with the ball. I think that Edgecombe is a guy who can develop into that, even if he's not at that level that maybe an Ace Bailey is right now.
Yeah. We know the pick is in. Is Adam Silver crossing the stage yet? Adam Silver is still not crossing the stage. I did forget to mute my notifications, so I do know who this pick is. I'm not going to spoil it yet until...
I didn't see any crazy reactions.
Adam Silver has now walked across the stage.
With the third pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Philadelphia 76ers select VJ Edgecombe.
There we go.
Bimini, Bahamas, and Baylor University.
It's the right pick.
Yeah.
I think it is too.
I still think the talent of Ace Bailey, but I don't think you have to take into account everything that was going on with him. I just always thought it was weird from a guy like Ace Bailey, because now he's going to drop. I don't see it. Now the Hornets are going to be on the clock with the fourth overall pick.
He wouldn't fit with the Hornets.
No, I mean, when you look at that Hornets roster,
LaMelo Ball is
like
the most
you
ball-dominant guard.
You also do not need another guy that is going to be as a guy like LaMelo Ball or Ace Bailey. There's a lot of ego on that team already, especially
Brandon Miller, Miles Bridges there as well.
Oh, Miles Bridges should not be in the NBA anymore. But that's a conversation for a different day. The Charlotte Hornets, though, they stink. Like they're a terrible team. So their team needs
I
everything.
want to pump the brakes on that really quick, because I think the Hornets obviously have been bad, but when you look at their roster, it doesn't look like a bottom 5 roster.
It's a good roster. They get hurt all the time.
Yeah, the injuries have been an issue, but LaMelo Ball, you'd have to think, unless Ball is held down on leaving, then he's their future point guard. Brandon Miller is a solid shooting guard, even if he's not the prospect that people might have thought he was going to be. Josh Green is probably a hole at small forward. You'd want a better starting small forward, but he's fine. Miles Bridges is Miles Bridges. Mark Williams is another guy that might get moved. You've got Yusuf Nurkic there as well. Some question marks around the center position. I don't see them going there with this pick or at all in the draft. But then you get to the bench and you have guys like Grant Williams in the front court, but
he's
the
recovering
back
from the
court,
torn ACL.
The backcourt is very, very thin. And similarly for the wings. So my thoughts for the Hornets is that you're either going to get a second playmaker, a guy who can initiate your second unit, or you're going to get a wing who you can plug and play and is instantly going to elevate this club. And so for me, the two options were Con Knippel and VJ Edgecombe. Now Edgecombe's gone. Given that Ace Bailey's team has reportedly indicated that he's not interested in going to the Hornets or the Jazz, for me, I think the Hornets now are going to pick Con Knippel.
I agree with you. I think Con Kneppel is the right pick. He shot 40% from three, which at any player in college, 40% from three, that's like the benchmark in the NBA. And the Hornets need scoring. They need shooting. They need a couple other guys to round out that roster. I did think it was interesting from reports going around the NBA before the draft is that it wasn't just Ace Bailey, but multiple players had indicated that they didn't want to play with LaMelo Ball, which I think is very interesting, especially from a guy, LaMelo Ball, who's a great passer, great distributor, which is kind of surprising.
Shot chucker, though.
Yeah, that is one of the issues. I think a big problem with this Hornets roster is immaturity.
Yeah.
But adding a guy like Con Kneppel, great shooter, really will help round out that roster.
Not a guy that's going to demand the ball a
ton.
No.
Especially, and he was the second, third option already at Duke, so he's not going to come in being like, I need the ball to score.
Very, very well put. It's someone who is the rare combination of a great NBA talent, NBA-ready talent coming out of college, but also someone who's used to playing in a secondary role. Most of these guys are going to have to adjust to not being the guy with the ball in their hands the whole time. Someone like Cooper Flagg, I think, is well fit to adjust to that role, where there's ball-dominant guys like Kyrie Irving. There's someone who's going to need to get his shots and his touches in Anthony Davis. Someone like Ace Bailey has shown throughout this pre-draft process that he's not mature enough, or at least not wanting to take a secondary role. Con Kneppel is someone whose game fits perfectly into that mold, and I think he could give the kind of maturity and stability that this Hornets team has needed and lacked the past few years.
Yeah, and the Hornets, they had a league worst shooting percentage last season, bringing out 40% from college at the three-point line. Be a great outlet for LaMelo, because honestly, the shooting over there is lacking, especially with their injury problems. You always need someone who's going to be able to shoot, and I don't think Kneppel's going to be the kind of guy who gets hurt too much, knowing that he doesn't really move that much. So I think it'll be a very good pick for them. I think overall with the Hornets, that maturity thing is a huge thing for them. Their coaches have not helped them whatsoever when it comes to that aspect of the game. That's what's allowed LaMelo to kind of, at one point in the season, was shooting 15 3-pointers a game. So I don't know how you let your guy. I don't know how you let a player even do that. But
15 is
yeah, it was the start of the season, but like it's insane, and that's the reason why I don't know how you work on another team. So I think you need to keep someone like Knippel, be a great pick, as you said. He's not a ball dominant player whatsoever. He's going to know his role immediately, and he's going to fit in very well. Probably be some guy coming off the bench, and it's a safe pick as well. And I think the Hornets have been kind of risky the past couple of picks that they've been doing. They picked the Tijon Saloon guy last year. That was just not a good pick at all. They could have got Buzelis, but instead they went risky, picked Saloon. Right now it's not working out. Hopefully it develops a bit more, but I don't know, man. This roster, I know you were saying I know you were saying it doesn't look good.
I don't think it looks
I
good.
genuinely think the starting lineup, if it all stays intact, I think the starting lineup, if LaMelo stays healthy, if everyone stays healthy, I think it's a good starting lineup. Oh my God.
Oh my goodness, I haven't seen that happen during my time here. Wow. I've heard rumors. I've heard rumors of the old mic drop.
I don't even know where this came from. Oh
my goodness, Owen Kelty.
wow.
Jeez. Well, let me insert here.
Man down.
We talked to
piece
your
this thing together.
You got to hold
This
the
is
mic
why
the
we
whole
need
time.
a healthy and stable presence like Knippel. Another stable presence for us is Bobby Chaffardini. Alongside Chris Carrino, he is there in Barclays, another one of our NBA draft correspondents. He texted me with some insight that he has, an opinion that he has about what the Brooklyn Nets should do. Of course, we talked about them being the team to watch given the type of draft capital they have and also the amount of holes that they need to fill. He's saying that right now what the Nets should do is package together some picks and make a trade up and get their guy in Ace Bailey here at number 4. Obviously, if that were to happen, that would be a stunning move, but you could also say that Bobby Chaffardini had it first.
Really? He had it first.
Now, I will say Bobby's watched a lot of Dylan Harper and a lot of Ace Bailey in his day.
I have no idea how to fix this thing.
He's super high on both of them, as Owen continues to work that out. Bobby Chaffardini is convinced that both of these guys are going to pan out as superstars. I'm pretty convinced that Dylan Harper is going to be at the very least an all-star level point guard, if not better. I think he's going to be one of the great point guards of our next generation. However, Ace Bailey is a much more volatile selection.
It's a bit more
Will
boomer bust
continue
guy.
Exactly, and that's not something that you want out of one of your top selections, especially if you're a team that's needy in the Hornets.
Mm-hmm.
They can't really afford to miss big on another pick. You talked about last year. This is a team that needs someone who's going to come in, make an impact right away, but also have some star potential, and also someone who, as we talked about with Knippel, can come in, be used to a secondary role, have the ball out of their hands when a guy like LaMelo Ball is facilitating, when a guy like Miles Bridges or Brandon Miller are an ISO. And for me, I don't think that Ace Bailey profiles as that. It's going to get a little more interesting in analyzing these rosters as you go down the line. Look at a team like the Utah Jazz, the Washington Wizards. Are those teams that could be better fits?
Definitely.
I think so. However, there was that report that Bailey does not want to play for Utah either, which doesn't make a lot of sense, as we talked about earlier.
No one besides Markkanen and Kessler.
You got
Not
Walker
really anyone
Kessler
else
too.
great
They
there.
have a bit of a logjam in the backcourt with guys like George, and Collier.
Yes, I call it.
But so you'd think that they maybe will go for another primary ball handler here, but knowing what I know about the Ainge family, I don't think that Utah is going to take a big risk in a guy like Ace Bailey and also a guy who has character concerns. Now, it says the pick is in for the Hornets, and I see Adam Silver walking out onto the stage.
NBA
This could be big.
Commissioner Adam Silver, back to you.
With the 4th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Charlotte Hornets select Knippel,
There we go.
Duke University.
Rounds out. I think we're back now with the mic. I don't know. I've actually never had that happen to me. That's kind of crazy.
Another
But
Dookie
Knippel
drafted
is back,
here.
or is now picked with the Charlotte Hornets, helping round out that roster. So now on the clock, I know you guys were just talking about it. Update. No tears from George Sfouggatakis from Knippel. If I was going to the Hornets, I'd probably cry anyway if I was going to be them.
Career
But now
ruin, man.
on the clock is the Utah Jazz, and you guys were just talking about Danny Ainge. This is a team that I actually I thought going into last year was going to be a lot better than they were. They have good players in Colin Sexton. Lauri Markkanen is a max contract player. Walker Kessler was getting dangled at one point for 3 first-round picks by Danny Ainge, which we all know Danny Ainge just loves first-round picks, but this team needs a guard. And I think this is where it's kind of going to be all over the place entering this part of the draft. It's going to go Jeremiah Fears or Trey Johnson, which I think is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, I think I prefer Johnson. This is a guy who can pack a real scoring punch, who I think could also play alongside guys like George and Collier and eventually develop into your ball-dominant point guard. Jeremiah Fears is one of the most volatile and risky picks in this draft, but he's also a guy who shows flashes of Russell Westbrook and John Wall. He's really electric with the ball. The question is going to be, can he finish, can he score, can he defend at an NBA level? That's the pick that I expect Utah to make. And with that, we'll turn it over to our substitutions.
Now entering the studio is Kate Cox and George Sfouggatakis for our 5th and 6th picks of the night. I'm already lost, and we're only
usually the number
5
comes
picks
after 6.
in.
Owens.
Yeah, 5 does come after 6. Thank you, Joe. I'm going to stop touching this thing because it's going to come down one more time. But now the Utah Jazz were one of the worst teams in the NBA last year, 17-65. Once again, like I said before, I thought they were going to be much better. But here, like the roster, missing some pieces, but they have some good players. What do you think, George? Where do you think they go with this pick?
I see Jeremiah Fears because I see the Jazz taking one more year to develop. They're gonna go and get the number 1 overall pick next year. It's already in the cards with AJ DeBanza going to Utah Prep, BYU.
Oh, yeah, he's going straight to Utah.
He's going to the Jazz. So I see them taking a risk with Jeremiah Fears as a player who might need 1 year to develop, and then using AJ and Fears as a duo to really make a push after next year.
Yeah, I mean, Fears is young, but he's very comfortable being around older people. I mean, he's like the youngest person. He was the youngest person on his team at Oklahoma, and he was surrounded by a lot of older guys. I don't think that's going to be an issue for him. I think the Jazz are going to have to put some effort into developing him, but he's got a tight handle, and he attacks, and he nails into people. He's super creative with his plays.
Quick first step.
Yes, he really wants to be playing, and I feel like he's very confident in his play as well, which is a big part of him. That could be good, that could be bad. I guess we'll see, but I expect the Jazz to go with Jeremiah Fears. I don't see why they wouldn't.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see if they go between Fears and Trey Johnson. They're definitely going to go guard here, but Fears, his 3-point shooting percentage is 28% from 3, 17 points a game.
That
Trey
can be
Johnson,
developed.
20 points a game, average 20 points a game. I don't know if you can go wrong with either of these guys, but this is a huge pick, I think, for the Utah Jazz because they don't have.
You don't want Isaiah Collier starting as your point guard in 2020.
Yeah,
and they really don't have. I mean, Lauri Markkanen is a very good player, but they're lacking.
Kessler's
a
gone
star,
too.
and
Kessler's gone.
Kessler's going to most likely be traded
To the Lakers, most likely.
somewhere in this offseason. The Lakers are going to get fleeced probably for some first-round picks for Walker Kessler. But, I mean, they still have Jordan Clarkson there. Like you said, I think this is just another pick in the wheel to tank next year.
I still can't believe that the Jazz gave John Collins that contract, which was disgusting.
Yeah, it's really
disgusting.
The fact that, I mean, giving John Collins that contract when the Hawks tried to trade him, I think every single year, it's like Miles Turner. The Hawks tried to trade him every single year of his career, and then now I believe they tried to
He's
trade
making
him
over 30.
last trade deadline. Here, I have it up right here. He makes $26 million a year.
It's crazy.
And they did draft Kyle Filipowski last year.
Well, I still have a lot of faith in.
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of guys on their roster: Collier, Filipowski. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what they do with Colin Sexton too. Do you try to trade? Like, if you draft a guard, are you trading Colin Sexton here? I mean, what do you think?
No, I think you keep Colin Sexton for at least 2 more years.
Okay. Well, it says the Jazz led the NBA with 17 turnovers a game.
You brought up Kyle Filipowski.
You really need a point guard at this point.
You
Worst
brought up
record
Kyle
in the NBA.
Filipowski, Fordham Prep legend, by the way.
The pick is in. Still no Adam Silver walking across the stage. So we'll see. I think that was pretty quick for them to make the pick.
Progress.
We're
moving
making
up.
progress,
Yeah.
but I mean, it seems like they had some conviction among these two guards. All right, update from Trey in there. They took all 4 minutes. I was just not looking at it, but this Jazz team.
The substitution sped it up.
The substitutions did speed it up. The Jazz are still another year away. I think that's pretty obvious. But I think Jeremiah Fears, especially what he was able to do with that Arkansas team, would be like he turned the team like he was a dog in the tournament, and you need that. You need that, especially with the way Utah was. I mean, 17 wins. They were so bad last year, and they have a really good fan base, and it's still
They do.
They're selling out that place a lot for a really bad team.
I still find it so funny that their Wi-Fi is Jordan pushed off. That's the funniest thing I've ever had. As I'm wearing an MJ jersey right now. It's hilarious.
He did push off. How about that?
He did not push off. His momentum was going that way. He was going down no matter what.
So, but who's your GOAT?
My GOAT's still MJ. Nothing will convince me otherwise. Bron's overrated. Bron's a fraud. Bron's a clown.
Mentioning also Kyle Filipowski did go to Fordham Prep.
Yes, he did.
For 1 year.
The GOAT.
The pick is in. We getting silver across the stage. Still no silver across the stage. ESPN is showing Ace Bailey though, so I don't know who they're going with that.
Around the block.
Oh, he's gonna be so mad.
Yeah, man, if they.
I mean,
Adam
I would
Silver's-
be mad
Adam
if I was
Silver's on the
drafted to
stage.
the Utah Jazz. I mean,
With the 5th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Utah Jazz select Arius Ace Bailey.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Whoa.
I did not see that coming.
Whoa.
Oh,
Wow.
his team is
He's-
mad.
That's our first shocking pick of the night.
Yeah.
How
I
Ace
thought
Bailey.
I thought he was
is there
going
any
to
report
Washington.
on how his
100%.
family looks?
Yeah, is he
what's-
crying
what's- is he
sad
happy?
tears
Like,
right
what-
now?
are
Is
there
he,
tears?
Like, slamming his
What's the
fists
look on
into the
Ace Bailey?
table? Like
Joe's using binoculars.
smiles,
smiles.
smiles.
Ace Bailey.
He's putting on the
Smiles.
fake
He
smiles.
is. He's got to be.
His team said he wanted to be. His team was saying this whole time he wants to be in between Atlanta and New York.
But now
They
he's
were-
going out
they
to
were
Utah.
saying they
Is
want.
it
and
technically-
they
is it
dropped him
technically-
intentionally to get him out of
Jersey
the Utah
kid's going
Jazz
to Utah.
hands, and now he's going to Utah Jazz.
He had the second most points by a freshman in Rutgers history.
Yep.
Wow. 17 points a game, 7 rebounds. Third team all Big Ten.
Technically,
I love that pick for Utah. I just
Yeah.
thought they
Utah
weren't gonna
is
take him.
between Atlanta and New York.
I just thought they weren't going to take him because he said no.
Yeah.
But otherwise, Ace Bailey was definitely the best prospect on the board.
Yeah.
That really changes, like that. Adding him to Utah's roster now, him and Laurie at the wings. I mean, they're still going to be pretty, relatively bad. I'd say next year they're still going to be one of the top teams looking for.
Trey Johnson, you are a Washington Wizard.
But now if you add in Ace Bailey, Laurie Markkinen, and then AJ DeBansta next year, like that's a really good team, and essentially like good fan base. Eventually, you could attract a star. Wow, that's really them going Ace Bailey. I'm shocked by that. What do you guys think?
I just wonder how he's going to.
Is he gonna play well? Is he gonna put
is
effort?
he gonna
He's
want
gonna-
to be on this team? I just from what he said in the past and the way his team has reacted to being a contender for the Utah Jazz, it does not give the idea that he wants to be there. So the fact that he just got drafted by them is a little concerning
Wow.
on that end.
I mean, I really think a lot of the times when players are like, "Oh, I'm not going to play there," it's like just to do it, but then they realize they're going to the NBA, and it's like their lifelong dream has just come true. And it's like,
yeah.
I'm going to go play basketball
yeah.
in Utah. It's like, you'll be okay. You can leave in 4 years.
It's a scary sight when you have John Collins and Ace Bailey running down the court towards you.
I mean, Ace Bailey.
Terrifying.
He talked about. I mean, he really wanted to go to a team to chuck. If you're going to a team to chuck, Utah's perfect.
Yeah.
They're going to be bad.
Yeah.
There's no
They're
one
gonna be-
else that
They're
Colin
going to be
Sexton
there
just
for
chucks.
and then the second AJ DeBansta sets foot on an NBA court, he's going to be the best player on whatever court he stands on. So
I mean, that's Ace. He's doing his interview right now. I'm sure he's going to be happy playing in Utah. You're going to be able to shoot as much as you want.
he's going to be.
I think
He's going to put up 23 a night with like 12 rebounds.
He could easily become
He
the
could be
star of
he
that
could now
team.
win.
I
I
mean,
think
Yeah.
he can win Rookie of the Year now.
Yeah, for
totally,
sure.
Especially
Definitely.
over Cooper Flag, him
Yeah.
being able to, he's going to put up numbers there in Utah.
You're going to see prime Russell Westbrook field goal attempts during those
Oh my God,
games.
He's going to be.
He's going to be putting up
pulling.
55 shots a night. Like, it's crazy.
But right now, on the clock, Washington Wizards. There's 3 minutes left on their pick. They have picked 6, 18, and 40. The Wizards were tied, or they had the second worst record in the NBA, and they fell down to the 6th overall pick. I believe they have the youngest roster in the NBA. I kind of had it shoe in for them going Ace Bailey because I assumed the Utah Jazz
Trey
Me too.
Johnson.
Yeah.
weren't going to. We're going to take
They
one of
need
the
a
guards.
guard.
So
They
now
need a
where
guard.
do the Wizards go? They
Guard.
just
Guard.
traded for
Trey Johnson. Yep.
C.J. McCollum.
Guard, point guard. One.
Trey, you don't think they go Jeremiah Fierce? It's the same conversation we just had with Utah, but then now it's like with the Wizards.
I think the
I see
Pelicans will go Jeremiah.
Yeah,
Fears.
100%. I see
I
Jeremiah
think
Fears
it's-
fitting in
yeah.
with that Pelicans offense
Yeah.
way better than fitting in with the Wizards.
Yeah,
And
it was-
like you don't ever talk about, wow, that's gonna fit into the Wizards offense. That's like
well,
just
'cause
not something
the
you
Wizards
say.
are just
The Wizards are just dirt.
young. They also have so much money on the books
also
between Marcus
dirt.
Smart, CJ McCollum,
So
and Malcolm Brogdon. Wow,
You-
they're paying some
Mal-
old
Malcolm-
guys.
that Malcolm Brogdon contract's insane, right?
He makes $22 million a year.
Jesus Christ. Rookie of the year,
Marcus Smart gets $20 million, and then Chris Middleton's at 31, and then CJ McCollum's at 33.
That might be the worst looking.
Wow, that's a big
Yeah.
four right there. I mean, last year there's some of their young guys did show.
Or do you go
Bud,
to the
Bud
five?
Carrington
Like-
showed signs. Alex Sarr, Keyshawn George, Bilal is only 20 years
Bilal's
old.
the
Bilal's
goat.
been very
Bilal's the
good.
goat. I love
As a
Bilal.
20-year-old, he showed signs of a lot of improvement last year between the length he gives them on the floor, his defense, and last year
Picks
he
in.
took that scoring jump.
The pick is in.
Oh,
Ooh.
the pick is in.
I'm curious.
Pick is very much in. Do we have any Adam Silver coming? Trey, Joe?
Still no. I don't think we've.
No dice?
It always takes
So-
him like 2 extra minutes to get
Yeah,
on
yeah,
stage.
yeah. It takes him
I
2 minutes
mean,
to, like,
it's-
Pick out every letter of the name.
Yeah, last year Bilal Coulibaly, 12 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. I mean, they have a really young team. A lot of their guys, besides like the old heads that they're paying $30 million a year for some reason, but they're going to be also another team similar to Charlotte, where if they add a guard this year, it's just going to be letting these guys start and seeing how many games you end up losing. And then once they get all those big contracts off the books after next year, I mean, this team could have a bright future if they get Trey Johnson here, pair up Trey Johnson, Bud Carrington. It's the problem is they have a lot of guards on this team.
Yeah.
My thought is, do you go Malawach just and
Not
throw
back-
Bub- no,
Not
but-
back-to-back years with
No.
the
and
center.
Yeah.
throw Bub at not Bub, Bilal Coulibaly at the 3, bench Middleton, put Sarr at the 4, and then have Malawach play and then treat Sarr like a quasi Wemby type of guy.
But then also, like, you look
Middleton's
at the
like one of
starting
the best
line.
players on the team.
Yeah, I know, and it's like that's just not okay.
Who did he say?
Chris Middleton.
Oh yeah,
the
I
best
mean
player
it's
on
gonna be interesting to see how they run that starting lineup. Because are you really gonna run a starting lineup with Marcus Smart, CJ McCollum, and Chris Middleton in it when you have all these young guys that need minutes? Especially, I mean, if you add in a guy like Jeremiah Fears or Trey Johnson, you want them starting right away. Especially when you're a team like the Wizards, like they're not gonna win enough games to be in the play-in. So I think if you're adding all these young guys, you want them to start. That's why I thought it was so interesting in making the CJ McCollum trade for Jordan Poole. I mean, I guess it's just looking at his contracts, they're eventually going to get off the books, but we'll see how they use this year. And with all their abundance of guards, I just can't see them taking another guard, but I also don't see them going center with Sarr last year.
Yeah,
You guys
Yeah.
both think they go Trey Johnson?
Yes.
I do. That's the number one overall option for them. I just don't see a future with the Wizards. That's why I'm struggling to put into words, is because they need like a 3, but they also don't need a 3.
They kind of need a wing, but there's no wing available. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like Chris Middleton is not is Chris Middleton a viable wing in Big 2025?
No, not at all. That's why I'm like speechless.
That's why like this roster, no matter who you add, it's going to be
still gonna
interesting.
be bad.
It's
they're
gonna be
still
bad.
dirt.
Yeah.
They're borderline a G League team at this point. So
Yeah, if they lose, I mean they're going to lose another. Maybe they might win.
I don't have beef with the Wizards. Like, it's just sad seeing this.
Well,
happen.
yeah. I mean, they're awful.
They're terrible.
That's
no
why I
team.
thought Bailey would go to.
That would have been fun. I think
Bailey
Ace
would've been
Bailey was
perfect for the Wizards.
A wing
The
was
wing,
perfect. Ace
like-
Bailey's perfect there.
He needed some development. He needs a lot of development, but he would have been
That Jazz
perfect
team-
for that
That
Wizards
Jazz
team.
in 2 years is going to
With
be
the
so
sixth
good.
pick
Oh.
in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Washington Wizards select Trey Johnson.
Trey Johnson
Yeah.
out of
from the
Texas.
Makes sense.
University of Texas.
Wizards go guard. They get even younger now with their roster. Could be an exciting,
Jeremiah
somewhat
Fears,
exciting
you are a
year
New
for
Orleans
those.
Pelican.
You
Yeah.
think Pe-
Oh,
Fears,
yeah.
You are a New Orleans
Oh
Pelican.
yeah.
Pelicans have a really interesting roster to look at, especially with just acquiring Jordan Poole. Who knows what they do with Zion? They still have, and everyone seems to be available. Trey Murphy, Herb Jones. But I agree with you. I really think they have to go look at
Jeremiah.
Jeremiah Fears here.
Has to be.
Especially if you're looking to rebuild that team, that's a good starting piece to
You
rebuild
get-
around.
You get the epitome of
But-
explosiveness.
My
Yeah.
time is up, and taking over
Oh.
now is
there was some
Mr.
aggression
That was
behind
Mr.
there.
President.
impressive.
Mr. President.
Owen is
Get
getting
outta here.
kicked out.
Keep that mic on the.
Yeah, don't touch the mic.
We've heard enough
Owen
of
broke
this
it
guy at
more
A-Host.
than
Don't
Owen's
give
been
him
on
the
for an
reins.
hour straight.
Oh my gosh, get him back where he belongs.
Yeah.
In the production room. All right, everybody.
Yep.
Pelicans on the clock, Nets on deck. That's obviously the
Yes.
story of the draft, but let's stay in New Orleans for now. They just made a pretty significant trade.
Yep.
Surprised a lot of people landing Jordan Poole. And now you look at a roster that's loaded with some ball-dominant folks like Jordan Poole and Zion Williamson, and also some solid complementary pieces, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, but also some holes. Particularly, I think, I'm looking at the backcourt. Jose Alvarado figures to be your starting point guard, and then DeJounte Murray is there as well. I think he had an injury, so he's listed lower on the depth chart for right now. But it's a team that could, 1, use probably some wing depth, 2, could use a center, and 3, could use another point guard. They could really use...
They
I
use
could
a
see
lot
them
of
going...
stuff.
It's going to be Malawach or Fears, but I see them
That's-
leading
yep.
Fears.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Fears, and I think Malawach will go to the Nets.
They have this obvious need for a big man where they have Yves Missy and Trey Murphy, but they also
But I
hold
also
picks at
think, like,
number
the Nets
21.
might not go that way.
Really?
Yeah.
We have a caller, actually. Anderson, a
Ooh.
concerned Wizards fan, is on the phone. Anderson, what do you have for us after this Washington selection?
I mean, honestly, best selection on the board, but let me tell you something. This is the worst franchise in any sport ever. I can't let my kids be fans of this team. I can't let it. I might have to make my kids hockey fans or maybe golf fans. I can't do this anymore. You're telling me we win 17 games, we can't get the first pick, then we go for Ace Bailey, who literally tried to sabotage his draft stock to get us, and then he goes to Mormon country? It's absolutely absurd. I can't do this anymore. And I'm just saying, prediction right now, the Wizards win 11 games next season. They're projected to get the first pick, and they get like the 8th. How are we giving teams like Dallas the first pick? I can't stand this.
Well, thanks so much, Anderson. I really appreciate your enthusiasm and your optimism on a night like this. It's a
I
night
can't
where-
believe that Wizards fans are real.
Yeah, it's actually also definitely...
These are real
Is
people.
this one of
who,
Owen's
like,
friends?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest surprise of the night. It's not Ace Bailey to the Jazz. It's that
It's-
there's a Wizards fan, and he's also somehow listening to this show right now.
What,
odds
what,
both
one of
those
3
things
Wizards
happening at once
fans
are very
in the
low.
world.
Are there even 3?
2.5.
It depends if you count the players on their roster, and I think most of them
I
would
don't
say
even
no.
think they're fans.
I think most of them would say, I want to get out of here. Well, there's a couple of former Wizards on the Pelicans right now. Jordan Poole, Sadiq Bey was also involved in that trade. That's another depth piece. You just talked about the Pelicans being perhaps between Maluak and Jeremiah Fears. The reason why I think that they would go Fears here or with another guard, maybe they're looking at Kasparas.
And I put Kasparas Yakichonis is not going
Yakichonis.
7th in the NBA draft. That's just not how this works here.
Just floating names out there. I don't think that
no,
they're going to
that's-
go.
That's a war crime.
I don't think they're going to go for Malawach. Look, you think I care? It's New Orleans.
No, for sure, no, for sure. But like, I think Kasparas Yakichonis is a fraud either way. Like, I don't see him being legit.
I actually do like Kasparas, and I think in a world where the Celtics had a higher pick, like if they had a low lottery pick, I'd be cool with his value there. I'm fairly high on his chances to develop. We'll talk more about it later in the draft during his pocket. But I think one pocket in this draft that's interesting is maybe in the late teens and early 20s. There's a decent amount of big men that could impact an NBA roster right away. Derek Queen's a guy who probably wouldn't even go until there, but he's part of a litany of guys, along with Sorber. You've got Danny Wolf. You've got Kalkbrenner down there as well.
Kalkbrenner, I personally watch a lot of Creighton basketball, and I see him as someone who will be very valuable to an NBA team. He's projected to go to the Boston Celtics, and I think that he's going to turn into a Kristaps Porzingis-esque player.
That's another late first-round option. The Pelicans hold the number 21 pick. That's where I think they address their big man need. In this pick, I think a guy like Jeremiah Fears could be the answer. Now, the question would be, how would he play alongside Jordan Poole? Two guys that really need the ball in their hands to be as effective as possible.
I see Jordan Poole taking like a 2-guard approach. You put Fears as the one, have him bring the ball up, have him drive and dish, and then have like a motion offense in a way that it would function very well.
Now, let's take a quick intermission because we have yet another very surprising slew of words that the producer has told me. We have a concerned Jose Alvarado fan on the line. Not sure how that person is also in the YouTube chat.
I'm almost surprised. How do they even exist?
Hey, Mr. Concerned, go ahead.
How you doing? I was just listening to the broadcast, and I just have to say the slander on Jose's name is just unacceptable.
There's no slander. I just don't think he's a starting point guard.
Yeah.
Great role player, but I think
Are you
Jeremiah
even
Fears
familiar
is.
with the New York Hoops Brooklyn legend, Jose Alvarado?
Look,
Dude, the bucket.
I'm
Defense.
familiar.
You guys know his signature play. He stands behind the ref, kicks that ball away. Come on now.
Unfortunately, that doesn't get you any wins.
Well, it gets you
DeJounte Murray's on
turnovers.
that team too.
Gets you turnovers, no? Shows help with wins. Okay?
Yeah, the only turnovers you should be worried about happen on the other side of the ball for the Pelicans.
The only turnover the Pelicans actually address is the apple turnover, and it doesn't work.
It's crazy.
Zion needs to lay off of them.
There's a few layers.
Zion
There's a
needs to
few
lay
layers
off
to
of
that
them.
joke.
Was crazy.
My
It's
goodness.
It just like doesn't. This team needs a scoring slashing guard, and DeJounte Murray will be back, and he will play the 2 guard with Jordan Poole. Then you have Jeremiah Fears coming off the bench, and everything will look very good for the future if they don't get rid of Zion Williamson.
Let's not overlook the option of maybe one of many NBA-ready 3-and-D kind of wings. The pick is in for the Pelicans. We've yet to see Adam Silver walk across the stage, but we expect him to be out imminently.
We did not get tears from Ace Bailey, correct?
No tears, just smiles as far as we know, and Adam Silver is walking onto the stage.
With the 7th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the New Orleans Pelicans select Jeremiah Fears from the University of Oklahoma.
There we go. The Pelicans get their guys, Jeremiah Fears. This is a guy who's been a pretty tantalizing prospect. People have had him as low as the low 20s on their board and as high as number 5. It's someone who, in a very short span of time, has become one of the top prospects in the entire world. He's someone who reclassified to go to college a year early. He goes to 1 year at Oklahoma, and he stands out as one of the best players, not just in his conference, which is a loaded SEC conference, but in the entire nation. Now, there's holes to fill with him, but he's a guy who can probably make an impact and be someone who's taking care of the basketball quite frequently for this Pelican squad.
Come on, Malwatch. You are a Brooklyn Net.
You think that that's where they're going here at 8?
Yeah.
Yes.
I happen to agree. I do think that that would be the right pick. I'm really high on Malwatch. He's kind of a similar story to Jeremiah Fears, someone who has short-circuited his path to the NBA. He was only introduced to basketball 5 years ago, and his rise has been
And he went D1.
nothing short of
went
meteoric. He
went
didn't
to
go
the
D1. He
biggest-
went to Duke.
Yeah.
He went to the basketball school.
He went to the world.
And he's
of
someone who
basketball.
has a pretty well-rounded game and also is just an athletic freak. I mean, his standing reach, I think, is 9'4". 9'6" is just
Crazy.
absurd.
He's a freak of a human being.
Now-
He's massive.
As you would expect, he's still kind of raw as a finisher. He doesn't have this, like,
7'2".
super great veteran touch. He doesn't have much of a jumper yet, but he's still a tremendous play finisher and pick and roll, a putback machine, a crazy good shot blocker, the best in this draft class. And he's also a guy who, despite the stature at 7'2", is surprisingly
Quick,
mobile.
yeah,
He can do
Yep.
more than just play drop coverage for you. He can pick up your 3s and 4s in the pick and roll and play some help defense. I think that that's someone who can make an instant impact and could grow into a star player. I mean, really a star. This is someone I'm really, really high on. And I do think that the Nets would be making the right selection if they were to select him here.
I totally agree.
What other direction could you see them going in, Joe?
Yeah.
Well, they have a lot of needs, so
I agree, but who would you want to pick this high and not take away from other teams?
it's difficult because the 2 other guys that I had outlined as someone who could be the person that they finally choose to build their franchise around, because they've been kind of waiting in the middle. They've been in this vague, ambiguous area for the past 5 years where they haven't really had a guy. My thought was, if you take Ace Bailey or Trey Johnson, if you trade up or one of them falls, which there was a chance that would happen,
Or you dish
that
this
you
pick,
make
period.
that splash, or, and that's what I'm getting to, they have 5 first-round picks. They have another pick early in the second round. Hard to believe that they would make every single one of those selections. Could they trade out? Could they get an existing star? Could they have moved up in the draft? They opt not to do so.
Do they dish these picks?
But let's circle
see
back.
Giannis?
Let's circle back to New Orleans briefly, because we have some more commentary on this Jeremiah Fears pick coming from a caller who wants to weigh their thoughts. What do you have for us?
Hey, I like the call there from Joe. That was a good call. You know, seeing where Jeremiah Fears is going to go. I'm curious why a guy in the white shirt really didn't love that early on and thought that was a crazy take for him to go so early.
Now, caller, Mr. Caller, Caller, I have no idea who you are. I actually don't know what you're talking about. I'm pretty sure that Mr. Whiteshirt, George Sfouggatakis, had Jeremiah.
Yeah, I
Fears
had
going to the
Jeremiah
Pelicans,
my
buddy.
fears going there too.
Explain yourself.
Well, that's my bad. I misread the situation. I apologize.
This guy's something tells me he's on like a naval ship somewhere in Virginia or something crazy like that. I don't know. I don't know the guy. He's not my best friend. Clearly, he has no idea what he's talking about. So he is. Thanks for the call, Addison. Appreciate your thoughts. They were just about as thoughtful and correct as I thought they'd be, which is not at all. Let's move back forwards to the Brooklyn Nets, where Kamon Malawach is expected to be their number 8 pick. It's not confirmed yet, but we do seem to have a consensus here that despite having some solid big men in Nick Claxton and Noah Clowney and even Day'Ron Sharp, who is a restricted free agent, that he could be a real franchise changer here at number 8.
Yeah, I mean, I think about the story around him too, specifically with his visa and, getting that all figured out. You can tell how much he loves this game, how much he wants to play in the NBA, the way he's gone about that situation. He loved playing at Duke. Everyone has said, Shire said he was one of the best guys he's ever coached. Such a good team player. He started so young playing in, at home. And I think for as big as he is, the fact that he's able to sprint so aggressively and transition so quickly from offense to defense on either end of the court is really impressive, and that's something I would want as a GM going into this pick. He's the kind of guy I would want to see.
Dedication.
I talked
Straight
about Ace Bailey
yeah.
earlier. I would say Malawach is another kind of person that you can tell when he's on the court, he's playing as hard as he possibly can, and that's the kind of character I would want to have on my team.
That's pedigree, and that's something that Ace Bailey did not show, which is interesting. He wasn't dedicated to the game strictly for the game. He was trying to have like this ego about him. And Malawach, I feel, is a player that you put him in, and he will run hard for you 48 minutes a game no matter what.
The Bailey situation was so surprising to me because at Rutgers, he was that kind of guy that looked like he was trying all the time.
On defense?
Yeah.
I watched so many Rutgers possessions where he just stood there looking pretty and didn't provide any help.
Looking pretty.
like
maybe,
he was a traffic cone. He was like, "There's my defense."
I think a traffic cone has a wider shoulder width than Ace Bailey.
Yeah. I mean, I see where you're coming from.
The pick is in?
The game's
Pick is in?
No, the pick is in from Brooklyn.
Adam Silver yet.
Silver has not come out on the stage yet. I will say, not to speculate too much, but they went to the draft room, the war room in Brooklyn, and at least from what we saw, there wasn't this crazy overture of cheering the way that there was for the Mavericks when they selected Cooper Flagg. I don't mean to look too far into it and say that they're not confident in this pick, but that's just something that came up on my screen that
is there a little bit of a risk?
Interesting.
Could there be a little surprise?
I
of course,
wonder
this
who
could
they're
be
going for.
if there were to be the first
pick
trade
Yeah.
in this draft. It would occur right now where the Nets have so many picks. Of course, they can't trade up because they're on the clock. But if they were to trade down and attach some assets because they need to offload a couple of these picks, they could end up landing a star caliber player. We're about to find out. Adam Silver is walking onto the stage as we speak.
Select. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver has the pick.
With the 8th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Brooklyn Nets select Yegor Demon.
Whoa!
Goodness.
They went for like a 3-4.
My goodness. Yegor Demon.
Whoa.
I had him going way lower.
I had him going lower too. I had him going to the Hawks. Actually.
This is
super
I
had the same
interesting.
thing.
Yeah.
I actually have Demon ranked as my number 25 guy on the board. I have him pretty low.
I had him
He was
right before
someone
the
who
Hawks. I had him going to the Bulls.
expected to go low lottery, maybe mid-teens. Certainly, I don't think anyone would have expected him to go as high as 8. This is a guy who's 6'9", so he
What's the
profiles
question
as a
on
shooting
Malawach,
guard.
though?
That's what
That's what I'm
confused
like,
about. If you're gonna go for
what are
a
you
big guy
questioning?
like Demon, then why didn't you go for Malawach?
Well, Demon's a little
Like-
fat, quicker on his feet. He plays like a 3-4 type position.
But still,
He's also the
I
best
mean,
passer in this draft class. I think that's
True.
what's really
Definitely.
enticing about him. But what stuck out to me and why I ranked him so low is that he struggled to score even at the college level at all 3 levels.
Yep.
So my question is, well, I'm not saying that he can't develop into more than that. Given that his best asset is his passing, if he can't score at an NBA level, how much value can he bring as someone with the ball in their
spacing
hands.
a little
Yeah.
bit, maybe like a spacing type.
He could space, but he needs the ball in his hands to be the kind of facilitator that he is.
Yeah.
So that's why I was rather low on him. I think he needs to
Yeah.
be in a certain kind of situation.
He was
They're gonna
lower
trade
for
him.
me because of his underdeveloped
That's
handle.
the only
feel
thing
like,
that I have is that
yeah.
they're gonna trade him maybe.
Maybe
Like a team called and said,
maybe
you pick Demon. We'll do this, send you this, and
That would be quite the risky negotiation. Well, our phone lines stay busy. We have another caller coming in, an optimistic Brooklyn Nets fan. It's always a good thing
Kurt
to hear,
Sippel.
even though it seems kind of oxymoronic at first glance.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome.
Hi. How's it going?
Good. How are you? What do you have to say about this new Brooklyn Nets selection?
So I've never really heard of this guy. I was really high on Liam McNeely of UConn. That's
Okay.
who I think the Nets should have went with. I
Wow.
think to shake things up there, add a bit of grit to their team. I don't know if going Russian is gonna really do it. I mean, BYU. I think it's a questionable pick there.
I would happen to agree with you on that one. It's certainly a reach, and above that, I'm not sure where the fit lies. Is this someone who they trust to have the ball in his hands for, bringing up the ball for 50% of your possessions in a game? I think that's the role he would need to have to be an impactful guy at the next level, at least out of the gate. So that's certainly a questionable pick from the Nets. The thing is, they do have 5 other picks in this draft, 4 other picks in the first round.
There's time. So high.
Yeah.
Like what? Like if you're gonna take a chance on one,
I'm really confused
take a chance
about
lower.
this.
Well, we have a very special guest joining us. Not a guest, but Trey Rodriguez, member of our panel, is coming in. He's coming in because the Toronto Raptors are on the clock next. I feel like we could continue talking about this Nets pick for a while because it shocked all of us. But, Trey, you're a Toronto fan. I'm actually not sure why. I'd actually like to hear why in the world you chose to root for this team at this time. I'm not sure what the backstory is there.
Yes.
But they're on the clock. They have a lot of questions to answer here at number 9.
Yeah, so I mean, first of all, I liked dinosaurs when I was a kid.
Sure.
So, branding appealed to me. Started liking basketball a few years ago, and I was like, I think I'm going to pick the Raptors. They got the dinosaur. They look awesome. So
Are you serious?
Yeah, basically, yeah. That's
Oh my God.
basically it. So, I love his logo here. Absolutely awesome.
Oh, wow.
I got my Pascal Siakam jersey. I brought all the toys after today, man. Everything.
All the toys.
So, yeah, but the Raptors, they got... I'd like to go real quick over to what they've done. So, last year they had a phenomenal draft, and it's a very underlooked draft. People don't really know because they only had one first round. They only had one first round pick. The others were, I think, two second rounders and one undrafted. But the Raptors, they have gotten more than 1,500 points from Jacoby Walter, Jamal Sheed, Jamison Battle, and Jonathan Mobo last season. And that's trailing only the Wizards in total points from rookies. And they're also the only team to have 4 rookies with at least 300 points in the season. So basically, a mid-first rounder and then a bunch of second rounders, basically all hits. And I think that's something I'm very excited to see what Masai Ujiri is going to do this year because I have a lot of confidence in this drafting right now. The past few years, I have not been too confident in this drafting. He's picked a lot of questionable people like Malachi Flynn that one pick later could have been Desmond Bane. But I have a bit more confidence in him now. I'm kind of scared that Masai is going to do what he usually does and go for some random international player who averages like 2 points a game or something, he's going to be from France, and then he's going to be in the league and he's going to like be out of it in like 2 years. I am a bit concerned about that, but there's a lot of talk around a couple of players, and it's around wings. It's around wings and forwards right now. So the Raptors' starting lineup, I think, is set unless they trade RJ Barrett, which they might. But right now, we're looking at the second unit, right? We got Grady Dick and an army of sophomores behind him. So we're gonna need someone else here. It's either gonna be Colin Murray Boyles or Carter Bryant. So Masai loves lengthy wings, and he loves lengthy wings and lengthy guards, and he builds a team to be tall. He likes to have a lot of shot blockers and just a lot of good athleticism and good physical traits on the team. And I think both Carter Bryant and Boyles fill the mold here, right? They're both great defensive players. Colin Murray operates more as a slasher wing right now, and his jumper's a bit spotty, but Bryant lacks ball handling, but he's a good spot-up shooter. So a lot of Raptors fans want Carter Bryant, and honestly, I'm starting to lean that way too because we need shooting on the team for sure. and I don't think we need a ball handler. I like Emmanuel Quickly where we got him. Honestly, Grady Dick's a pretty good ball handler as well. RJ Barrett does a good job as well. I think that, honestly, I think Carter Bryant's the pick here for us. If it's not him, it's Colin Murray.
Now, is that consensus in Raptors circles? Because when I look at Toronto's roster, I see kind of a roster that's filled out at small forward and power forward, but that really lacks a backup big or even a backup point guard. So I'd think that Malawach or Derek Queen, if you wanted him, fall right into their laps here.
I would like Derek Queen better. Malawach scares me because we have Jakob Poeltl, and he can't shoot at all. And
Right.
I think with Malawach, we're just going to get a second Jakob
But
Poeltl.
if you were to draft CMB, you're falling into a similar trap there, and it's a guy who has even less size.
Right, but the thing is that coming off the bench at least right then, our bench unit, we got Grady Dick and Jamison Battle. Jamison Battle's a very good three-point shooter. So I'm fine with him coming off the bench. We might have one spotty shooter. Actually, we'll have two with Mogbo and then Colin Murray. Those will be the two spotty shooters off the bench. The other three, though, I have a lot of faith in for carrying his shooting load. That's why I was saying I think Carter Bryant would be a better fit with shooting wise right now, because I think the Raptors they could never get enough shooting because everyone's really inconsistent on the team. I mean, our best player, Scotty Barnes, that shot like 27% or something last season. So we need shooters on the team for sure. Free ball is a desperate need for us. But like I said, I think Carter Bryant's the pick. A lot of the big names in Raptors media has been saying Carter Bryant for about a couple months now. Just a lot of people like the basic physical traits that he has.
Here's Adam Silver.
With the 9th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Toronto Raptors select Colin Murray Boyles.
Wow, they go CMB. Trey had it.
I was right, man.
Wow. Trey, initial reactions, Colin Murray Boyles, a South Carolina product, joining the 6.
I like the pick. I like Masai Ujiri's. I like his mindset that he has building a team of lengthy forwards and stuff. I always like size on the roster. I think a lot of the better teams in the league have a lot of size on their roster as well. So I think it's good to emulate that. I still almost think I'd rather pick Carter just because of the better shooter, but I am still really happy with the Colin Murray pick. I always love picking defensive players, and he is one of the best defensive players in the draft. So I'm really excited to see where he goes here. I'm very happy he didn't end up picking some random foreigner, and I was scared that they were going to pick Malik, but they didn't. So I'm pretty happy with the result here, honestly. I think I'm actually excited. I'm excited for next season for what he's going to do. I'm optimistic for him.
Yeah, I like Murray Boyles a lot. My biggest concern, Kate, is in college he didn't really ever develop the three-point shot to what it needs to be. Of course, the NBA, there's so many guys in recent years who have been able to develop that shot. For me, I think that's what would take him to the next level.
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like he's got that two-point shooting ability. He's able to draw those fouls really well. Definitely great on the defensive end. He's a great pick for them. I had Noah Esengwe as my original pick. Like you said, those foreign picks they love to go for, and he's on the really big end. So he was my initial thought for going with the Raptors. But Murray Boyles is great. He's awesome at passing. He's awesome on the defensive end. There's no going wrong with him. He definitely needs some development on the three-point end, but that, again, as we've said earlier tonight, that is an easy way. That's like an easy end of development. That's something that can be developed much easier than two-point ability and ball handling abilities. So definitely a good pick.
Now, this moves us over to the Phoenix Suns. Adam Silver's going to come up and he's going to announce that the Houston Rockets are making this pick because the Kevin Durant trade is not yet technically official to become official on the first day of free agency, but it will be the Suns making this pick unless another trade is announced. I'd expect the Suns to make this pick here at number 10. This is another team that, especially after this trade, is trying to find an identity. Are they going to draft a franchise cornerstone? Are they going to draft an NBA-ready impact guy? You talked about someone like Carter Bryant for the Raptors. I could see them going in a variety of directions here.
Yeah, I think I'm looking at a center, honestly, right now, or a bigger size guy. I think Derek Queen or Thomas Sorber is a good pick. I think Derek Queen, especially for KD. I see a very unconventional center in Derek Queen, right? He's surprisingly very advanced for a young center offensively, and he has a strong handle as well. So kind of a bit, obviously he's not KD, but a bit of reminiscent of the skill set that KD has of being kind of like a unicorn player, of not really fitting into any typical mold that's been seen. He's a good mid-range and he's good playmaking ability, but if anything for Derek, he needs to have a bit of a better three-point touch. I think if that develops, though, I think that'll be very good. I think he'll be a very good player. He'll be a lot of fun to watch too. Sorber, he's more of a traditional center, bit less risky, I think, but he's also going to need to tap into his perimeter shooting as well to reach his full potential. But I think you can't really go wrong with either of them. They literally have 4 starting caliber shooting guards right now, the Suns. So they don't need any guards, and I think forward is less of a concern right now.
Their starting center is Nick Richards.
Yeah,
you start and end the conversation there.
Yeah, they need a center desperately, and I think either Derek Queen or Sorber is the right pick for them.
No, I like Thomas Sorber a lot. I'm not sure what you see in him. Trey, this is a guy who went to Georgetown, has become a very traditional big, as you would expect. He did miss the latter half of his freshman season this past year with a broken foot. No indication that that's going to be a long-term issue for him. Usually that's not an injury that hampers someone's career once they recover from it. But he's a really fun, almost old-school kind of guy, someone who can score in the post, who has great length and awareness on defense, can play help, can be a rim deterrer. What do you see out of Sorber that makes him an intriguing pick here for the Suns at 10?
I mean, it's kind of like what I was saying a bit earlier. I like the traditional fact. I think sometimes with these newer centers, they really kind of lack the skill set that a center should have, right? It's cool to have shooting, but a lot of times you need that shot blocking ability, you need that defense, and a lot of centers nowadays are not really providing that. So I think Bobo's still on the Suns, right?
He's either unrestricted or restricted free agent. Let me check that really quick.
Okay, but yeah, so
he's unrestricted.
Okay, so I think having Sorber there, regardless of if Bobo leaves or not, right? Sorber might be the starting center over Bobo, I would think. Some don't really like Bobo. They don't use it.
I mean, Bobo could even be the starting power forward. This team's starting power forward is Ryan Dunn.
Yeah, that's terrible.
And then they have Royce O'Neal, which is okay depth piece.
But I think Sorber, I like the traditional mold for him. Good shot blocking. Sure, he has the weaknesses that a traditional center would have. Can't ball handle. Probably not the greatest passer, and definitely can't shoot. But three-point shot is something you can work on, and that's something that is worked on a lot with every center, basically. And you're not going to let him become like a Jakob Poeltl, where he's just going to not ever develop a three-point shooter. And today's NBA, you need a three-point shot. They're going to develop that with Sorber. I trust it. I think it's the right pick. I think Sorber's the right pick, honestly. Derek Queen's a flashy pick. But Sorber, if you want to say safe, definitely go with Sorber.
I had both of them on my list for the Suns as well. They just picked up, obviously, Dylan Brooks, who's going to be really great on the attacking end. So to have both of them, I think, Queen and Sorber, are great defensively. Derek Queen especially attracted me initially because of the way that he processes the game. I think he's great when the ball is not in his hands. He knows where to go to, he has strong hand-eye coordination, but he's a good playmaker because he's not always the one, making the shots. He's also like a good team player, which I really like about him, and he's huge. I mean,
now let me interrupt you here.
Option.
We have a trade right now. The Suns are trading to the Hornets. They're getting Mark Williams, which fills in that need at center, and they're sending a 2029 first. Is there anything more to that, producers? Phoenix will be keeping the number 10 pick.
What?
And Phoenix will also be getting the number 29 pick in this draft. Or rather, the Hornets will be getting number 29. So the Hornets are landing 2 first-round picks. The Suns are staying pat at 10, but also adding some much-needed center depth. We just talked about this. Could this change their draft strategy? They're still thin at center. Could they get another guy to pair and a tantalizing talent in Mark Williams? We're about to find out. Adam Silver is walking out onto the stage. This is going to be a really interesting pick.
Could be important. To show the big some love, with 10 seconds left. Adam Silver's at the podium.
With the 10th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Houston Rockets select Kaman Malawach from Rumbek, South Sudan, the NBA Academy Africa in Senegal, and Duke University.
So the South Sudanese guy, he does go to the Suns. I know he said the Rockets, that's because of that trade situation, but he will be a Phoenix Sun. He's going to join another really exciting young prospect in Mark Williams and round out a Phoenix roster that still has question marks, but at the end of the day has a ton of talent, and he's going to add to it a guy that has shown himself to be NBA ready on the defensive end of the floor, but also has a super high ceiling, and I think he's a steal at number 10.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely makes sense. I expected him to go a little bit higher than that, so that kind of makes sense to me based on, who else I thought they were going to go with. He's that big guy, really strong on both ends of the court. Definitely going to be a great addition to this team.
I kind of forgot about Malowicz actually because I expected him to go earlier, so I forgot to even mention his name. So yeah, I mean, really Malowicz, honestly, he probably is like a better Thomas Sorber a little bit, right? On a traditional side, so that's
more explosive.
Yeah, so that's my fault for even forgetting about that. But Malowicz, I think it's a really good pick. He's a project though for sure, but he's a very promising project. That's the good thing.
No doubt.
So I think it's going to be interesting to see how he develops. I think this clearly shows that the Suns are definitely willing to kind of lay it back a bit, have a bit of an off year, and kind of enter a rebuild now with Devin Booker.
And we got substitutions coming in. I will say about Malowicz, this is someone who is finding the perfect landing spot in Phoenix. He's got so many veteran guys who can score the ball, guys who can take care of things on offense. He's going to be able to slot in, play significant minutes year one, but not be overloaded. I think that this is the best case scenario for him, even if he drops a few slots. Now, let's welcome in George Sfouggatakis and Owen Kelty, our WFUV substitutions.
Also, that Hornets trade makes me sick. That was a terrible trade. I cannot believe they did that.
Why do they have 3 cents? That draft pick makes no sense with them just acquiring the getting Mark Williams, now Nick Richards, and they have Malowicz is a weird combination.
Well,
I think
Nick
for
Richards
them.
is horrible. Nick Richards, he's got to go.
All right.
I fell off again. I mean,
No, we lost it again.
A lot of technical difficulties today here in the studio.
That's losing the microphone twice. I think you just gotta pull it down and then rock. And then you gotta like twist it slightly in and then not touch it. I think that's how we save this microphone. I don't really know. That's twice in one day. I don't think I've ever seen it happen once. Oh, quick fix.
Look at that.
Oh, we might be back.
No, don't touch. You can't keep touching it though.
I need to just lock it.
It might fall.
What a mechanic we got on our hands here.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Guess I'm handy.
He's figured it out. But I mean, the Suns having 3 centers now is wild.
Yeah, I guess now we just have to think of what the Blazers are gonna do. Jokic need a scorer.
Yeah, I mean they just kind
of need everything.
They just got Drew Holiday,
but they need a score, which is where I
No.
You can't keep playing with him.
All right.
It's bad luck. The Blazers.
We're just going to rock.
It's a curse
Portland.
on the pick.
You're going to be like an ESPN studio. You got to hold the mic, man.
You got to hold it the entire time. And it just keeps flying up.
Oh.
It's just bad luck on that mic, I think.
Yeah.
Especially with maybe it's all bad karma for them even trading for Drew Holiday in the first place. I'm trying to think, what do the Blazers need? They need a lot. The Blazers don't have they have Scoot Henderson, obviously, Shaedon Sharpe, both guys who need to take a leap going into now.
I trust Scoot. He stepped it up.
He was better. He was better at the end of last year.
Yes, I think he was way better at the end of last year too.
They still need. I mean, they need a star. The Blazers.
I'm going to interrupt you guys. We do have NBA Draft Corespondent Chris Carrino calling in from the Barclays Center.
How we doing, Chris?
What's up, Carrino?
Hello.
Hello.
Hey there.
Hello, guys. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we got you, Chris.
Hey. How are you guys? I'm right next to the interview room right now. Ace Bailey just took the podium. He's getting his first question right now. But I just got finished with Con Kneppel. Asked him about being.
And we lost Chris.
Right
before he was going to tell us. We're back, Chris.
Hello.
Yeah, you cut out there for a second.
You cut out there right after you said Con Kneppel.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Am I good now?
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, you're good.
Hello.
Yeah. We can. I don't know what's going on right now.
We might be experiencing.
Am I cutting in and out?
Yes,
the bowels of Barclays Center.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you got you.
That's slander. Oh, and I'll stop cutting out. I promise.
Oh.
But But no, I just got done with Con Kneppel. I asked him a question during his press conference. A word thrown around a lot with Con is fit, his fit with this Charlotte team, his fit with this young Charlotte core. And I think, from a fit level, they couldn't have gone any better. I think it was a slam dunk for Charlotte at number 4. Obviously, guys like Ace Bailey were available. A lot of guys of natural talent were available. But I like Charlotte staying conservative, going for Con Kneppel, a guy they know is going to be plug and play and ready to go. And yeah, honestly, not a ton of surprises here in the early part of the draft.
This is
what
interesting.
What about the Nets pick?
That was
the Nets pick. The Nets pick at number 8. When going into the pick, I thought it would be Malawach. I think everyone in the building thought it'd be Malawach. A lot of Net fans in attendance here at Barclays. It was a surprise. I think Igor Demin is definitely a surprise. I think 8 months ago, him being a top 4 prospect, projected to be a top 4 pick in this draft, and his subsequent slide after that is a little bit alarming. The natural talent was obviously there. There's a reason why he was the only prospect outside of Ace Dillon and Flagg in that top 4 to start the season. And there was even buzz around him staying a year to play with the Bansta. I think it's a very interesting prospect for the Nets. The Nets looked very happy in the draft room. Sean Marks and company looked very happy. And Igor Demin, very similar, kind of the first thought I had was very similar to Cam Johnson, maybe a little bit more of a dynamic player than Cam Johnson, a little bit bigger than Cam Johnson, wondering if maybe they're thinking about moving off of him and Igor could be that starting shooting guard replacement.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Kurt Sippel he said, I think we just drafted Ben Simmons, so I want to hear your take on that one.
I mean, Ben Simmons won Rookie of the Year.
That's what I'm saying. Do you think, though, that it
Ben
is like do you think it's a very similar player comp? Ben Simmons is a good player comp?
I mean,
like good Ben
Igor's
Simmons.
Igor's a three-point shooter.
Chris,
I don't even really know what he means.
Our pick is on.
Chris, we're going to cut you off. The pick is in.
As part of a deal to be finalized later, the Houston Rockets are trading to the Phoenix Suns the draft rights to Kaman Malawach, the 10th pick. And now, with the 11th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Portland Trail Blazers select Cedric Coward from Washington State University.
But I don't believe he's traded. The Portland Trail Blazers are trading him at 11 to the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yes, there is a trade, a part of that. That is one of the issues with the NBA Draft, aside from the NFL, that they don't get the trades in automatically right away.
So we're just looking at Shams right now. So he's going to the Grizzlies, right? Yeah, and then now the Blazers are on the clock here. Is that what we're looking at? Okay.
Yes, Blazers are on the clock now. As we have, they have a rotating set of prospects coming in and out. Right now, they're at the 5th pick with Ace at the podium. I'll continue to talk to prospects as the night goes on, but it's been pretty paint by numbers so far. Not a ton of surprises. Ace getting taken by Utah not saying no to that natural talent there that was available. I think that was the smart play, and I think the real surprise is the real excitement is going to start coming now at this point in the draft, because really, it's any guy's game. It could really go in 20 different directions.
Who do you think, and what's the buzz around the building for where the Bulls are going in this direction? Because I could see them either going with a big or going with a guard in Jakic Jonas.
See, I think the Bulls are interesting right now because I think the Bulls don't really have many places that they couldn't replace. I think from a lot of perspectives, and I'm going to wait a second. Cooper Flagg's 4 inches away from me, just walked past me as his entourage follows past him. Sorry, he was that close to where I had to stop. But yeah, no, I think from the Bulls' perspective, aside from their guard play, which I saw reports today, they might be trying to move off of both of those guards between White and Lonzo Ball. I feel like it's honestly best player available for Chicago right now. I wouldn't overcomplicate it, overconfuse it. I would just take the best player that they can plug and play right now into their squad.
So that leads me to believe that it would be Jakic Jonas.
Say that again, George?
That would lead me to believe that it is Kasparas Jakic Jonas. Especially being with a kid who went to Illinois.
Looking at the best available right now, Carter Bryant out of Arizona, a major piece for anybody going forward. I would suggest Chicago go and get him. He's a defensive piece that is going to be an anchor for whatever team's defense he's going to be on for at least the next decade. He is a very impressive talent and a very impressive prospect.
I agree with that Carter Bryant take right there. Totally.
Yeah, Trey wanted him to go to the Raptors.
Yeah, well, Chicago has a golden opportunity right now, and I believe they should use it. This would be the time to take him. I would have taken him at 10. I would have taken him at 11, and I'm still taking him now.
So Chris Carrino very heavy on Carter Bryant, which
absolutely.
leads to
I would love to try and get into I'd love to try and get in his media scrum and ask him a question once he is drafted later. So I'll get back to you boys on that as well.
All right, sounds good, Carrino.
Fantastic. Yeah, keep up the fantastic work in the Bronx, and I'll catch up with you guys in a little bit.
All right, sounds good.
Great hearing from you, Chris. I hope the Nets make another bad pick. Oh, he's gone. No, he missed it. Oh, he still can hear it. Let's go.
Until it's too late.
Wow. Okay. Good thing he gets no rebuttal. Yeah, Chicago's an interesting team here, especially Chris mentioning Lonzo Ball and Kobe White potentially being moved. They're in purgatory right now. They need to figure their way out of it, and I think Carter Bryant would be a good pick for them, especially like they have a young team. They just need to pick a direction. They're kind of one of those directionless franchises stuck in the middle of the pack, and they were one lottery ball, I believe, off of Cooper Flag.
Yep.
So that's a brutal way to end that one.
We have the final details of that Memphis trade for Cedric Howard. The Grizzlies are sending the number 16 pick and a 2028 first-round pick to Orlando for Cedric Howard. Not to Orlando. From Orlando to Portland for Cedric Howard.
Okay.
So I don't hate that.
Yeah, I don't think it's that bad either.
It's not like a blockbuster, but it does give a little perspective on where this draft could be going.
I think just going back to the Bulls, I actually think kind of with what I was saying with the Suns before, I think maybe the Bulls might take it in that direction and look at a center, because I think, right, we're talking about them being a directionless team right now, and they need to pick a direction. I don't think Vooch fits really. I don't think he fits their timeline really whatsoever. So I think they're going to try to find a way to get Vooch out of Chicago, and I think they're going to end up going with a Thomas Sorber guy or a Derek Queen person, right? Get a good center in there that you can rely on for the future here. I also really like that Carter Bryant take that Chris was talking about. Get a lot of defense. Just really focus on defense here. Carter Bryant, not a center, still a pretty tall guy though. But I think the Bulls, if they're going to looking to get rid of Vooch, which I think they are, which I mean they've been looking to get rid of him.
They've been trying to get rid of him for forever.
Like actually, like since 2021, it feels like.
They traded those two first for him, and like then they've just been that roster's.
It's cooked. It's so cooked. But I think Derek Queen or Thomas Sorber going to centers. They actually only have one center on their roster,
and it's Vooch, who they don't even want on their roster. Exactly. I think Derek Queen would be a really good pick for them. I agree with that.
Is in.
I bet it's going to be one of those two, because like we're saying, I know Vooch has been rumored, has been like in trade rumors, just like Miles Turner has for years.
Yeah.
But I think now really is the prime opportunity to do this, because the Bulls have no direction whatsoever. And if you're looking to move,
do you want to take Derek Queen this early?
I mean, but I'd say I'd be fine with it, especially with how like Chicago's roster.
Then they could also get Asa Noel. They could get Asa Noel too. I like Asa Noel.
Yeah,
he needs a year.
I don't know. I just think Chicago's
I think you pick Carter Bryant over him first, though.
But Carter Bryant also needs a year for the offense. Like,
but I don't think there's a problem for Chicago taking a guy that needs a year, because they're not a win-now team. Like, so you take a guy and then you can go tank for next year and have these guys develop. You're nowhere near
that's not a
team.
Win-now year,
especially when you traded Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. You really didn't get that much of a return for either of them. They traded Zach LaVine as like one of his lowest values. I mean, his contract was terrible,
which was very surprising.
Oh, another trade. The Atlanta Hawks are trading the 13th pick to the Pelicans. Oh, it just disappeared. Hold on.
The 13th pick to the Pelicans for the number 23 and an unprotected 2026 first. The favorable between New Orleans and Milwaukee.
So Pels are up again.
The Pels are up next.
They're up next.
The Pels.
They make it. I mean,
they're being aggressive.
I like to see that from them.
Like they already took a risk taking Fears. Now they're going up to 13. They're definitely taking some gambits here. That's for sure.
This might be the pick for them to pick up a big.
Because they don't. Yep. They have it's Valanciunas, no?
I know.
All right, Valanciunas is gone.
He's on the Wizards, I think. I could be so wrong. Let me check that.
Poor Valanciunas has been sent to the Shadow Realm.
He's
deepest,
everywhere.
darkest depths of hell.
Let's see.
Oh, he's on the Kings now.
He's on the Kings? When did that happen?
I don't know. Valanciunas is just everywhere. But, I mean, they don't. The Pelicans also could any day just blow it up. So I think that's also makes them a really interesting team, especially with all those guys that they want to trade. And I forgot someone, you mentioned it before, DeJounte Murray.
He's
is
there.
still on the
we
Pelicans.
we didn't mention him that whole segment. I completely forgot he was there.
Like
the Pels team is good. They're just hurt all the time.
They have like probably one of the worst training. A lot of people have said their training staff is terrible, and the amount of injuries that they rack up, and especially with
the pick is in
Zion. I believe Silver is entering the stage.
Silver is here.
It's gonna be center.
Ooh, switching up with the music.
Or Carter.
With the 12th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Chicago Bulls select Noah Essengay.
They went big. They went big.
Saint-Jean-du-Bray,
Don't hate that.
I don't.
Club in Germany.
Another French guy.
They went big. Francis ran the draft for the past couple of years.
Yeah,
French guys always concern me. I don't know. I think a lot of this is on the Victor Wembanyama hype train. Listen, they play great basketball.
Risa Shea wasn't horrible last year.
He was pretty good.
That draft though, in general,
That draft was
just
so
mid.
Bad.
The draft was so mediocre.
Was not a good draft, especially with like Risa Shea had an okay year.
Sar had a brutal year.
I'm blanking. Who won Rookie of the Year last year?
Stephon.
It was Stephon.
Yeah, that was like okay. That was
So-
last
it-
year.
it-
I was like that.
Sar showed up at the end of the season.
Yeah, it would have been Jared McCain.
Yeah, he was great to
He
start
was
the year.
popping off, man.
Yeah.
He was
Oh,
something
more
else.
substitutions.
I'm staying.
Heading to the bench.
Yeah, we're here. We have joined by Joe Henry and Kate Cox
Wholesale
here to
substitution.
discuss
We
the
defer-
the Grizzlies pick. I believe the Pelicans pick.
It is now the
It's
Pelicans.
now the
Pelicans pick.
Pelicans pick and the Spurs pick next
Yes.
up.
Now to Kate Cox.
So, Casper Sekusonis? Question mark. Is that where we
With
are?
the
at
Pelicans
this?
now, they did just take Jeremiah
They
Fears.
did. They
Yes.
did. So Carter
They got
Bryant
their
as like a
small
3.
guy.
Now you
Pick
could
up
get
Carter
Maybe.
an
Bryant.
NBA ready 3-and-D guy in Carter Bryant, who's
That is
already
very true.
slipped a little bit here. I think that would be a good fit. Another question mark is, do you attack that big man hole? Derek Queen's another guy who's dropped
Yep.
a couple.
New
picks
Orleans
now.
is acquiring Derek Queen at number 13 as per Shams.
All right, so we have
Okay.
the pick ahead of time.
Okay,
We
yeah.
know that Derek Queen is now headed to New Orleans. This caps off a pretty significant run from New Orleans. The past few days, they make a pretty significant trade to get Jordan Poole, Sadiq Bey. They draft their guy in Jeremiah Fears to run point for them for the foreseeable future at 7, and now at 13, they add a franchise cornerstone at center and Derek Queen.
Which I like to pick for them. I love that.
Yeah, me too.
Because that gives Zion a backup, and you're able now to have more depth. So I could see them currently with the spot that they're in, if everything goes according to plan, they can be a 6 seed or like a play-in type team because they do have DeJounte Murray, who they're going to center the offense around, and explosive guard in Jeremiah Fears. So I could see some moves being made by the Pelicans this year and becoming a playoff caliber team. Not a championship team because OKC is going to run the West for the next 3 to 4 decades. So it's just who can put up a challenge and make it a little bit interesting in the West.
I mean, I love Derek Queen for this. I think going for a smaller guy like Jeremiah Fears, someone that's a really strong attacker, great in the paint. Going for Derek Queen, who's a little bit bigger, definitely more of a team player on that end, is such a good option for them. I really like him.
On that note, the pick is in. The pick is in. We know who the pick is. Not much surprise here with Derek Queen. But now this leads to some questions with what San Antonio and OKC are going to do with their 2 picks coming up. Do we have Adam Silver yet, Trey? Nope. Adam Silver's taking his sweet time.
This guy.
So,
Of course.
Doesn't he know
where
that
do
we know?
Where do we think San Antonio is going to go?
Ooh, I had them going for Sorber.
Are they going for Sorber?
Yeah.
This
I
is a spot
did.
where if there were a place for the Nets to trade up, it could be here. They
Yeah.
have so many more picks.
I love that Sorber pick. I love it.
Yeah.
Wembanyama needs a backup.
I think he's, over time he's kind of risen in this pre-draft process. People are starting to like him a little bit more. Obviously, he's not going to be playing in Summer League due to that injury, but there have been a lot of teams interested in him, and the fact that he is as low as 14, I mean, mind you, there have been so many good people in this, so many good options, but the fact that he's gone past, the previous Spurs, Thunder hasn't gone yet, but a lot of them, I think if he doesn't go to the Thunder.
Silver's coming. Silver's coming. Sorry to cut you off, Kate.
Yep.
Chuck Cooper, Earl Lloyd, Nat Sweetwater Clifton, 3 NBA pioneers, the league's first black players who 75 years ago made history. As we continue to welcome the next generation of players into the league tonight, we also celebrate the accomplishments of the legends who came before them. Chuck, Kevin, Jatan, your fathers hold a special place in the creation of the modern NBA. They were courageous, they showed resolve, and they represent a through line that continues today, the power of sports to bring people together. We are honored to recognize their lasting contributions to the game. Thank you.
We had a little honorary presentation by the great Adam Silver.
It was very touching from him.
It was nice to see.
I think that's an overlooked part of NBA history is, obviously, as a Celtics fan, Bill Russell speaks so much about the adversity that he faced in Boston, unfortunately, but across the entire league, and he's looked at as this pioneer for black athletes, period, but also in the NBA. But unlike Jackie Robinson, who's known by everyone as the first black man to play in the MLB, the story of the first black folks to play in the NBA is lesser known, so it's cool to get that moment there from Adam Silver.
Adam Silver is taking his sweet time with giving the pick.
But maybe he's buying some time for the Spurs, you think?
In the NBA there.
Oh.
Make sure to recognize the
Oh, he's back. No, he's not.
Nope. He keeps teasing us, man. Oh, my goodness. Adam Silver and a combo of Adam Silver and these two chuckleheads behind the board making us think that the Spurs are making their pick. This is going to be a pretty impactful pick because this is a team that is going to be one of the most improved rosters year over year. They're getting Wemby healthy. They're adding one of the best players in the draft in Dylan Harper. And they have a chance to attack another need here and really fill out this roster and this rotation. I think that the center position could be a good play, but also maybe you could get one of those wings. I mean, you don't really have a ton of wing depth. You have Vassell, Barnes, Champagny, Keldon Johnson. I don't think any of those guys wow you. So Carter Bryant could be the landing spot here. Oh. We're about to find out.
The Atlanta Hawks select Derek Queen.
It's Derek Queen.
Wow, shocker. Shams spoiled that one for us. As much of a blessing as it is to have Shams give us all the inside information, he did burst the bubble with the Derek Queen pick, which is someone that we didn't really mention going this high. But he was selected by the Atlanta Hawks and then being shipped straight to the New Orleans Pelicans to develop on that team. When healthy, can be a very, very good team. So, final decisions on the Spurs. Where do we think they're going?
Man, I think they have two options here. You have a guy in Sorber who's fallen this far, and you also have a guy in Bryant or in Carter that's fallen this far. I think both of them fill your needs, or Bryant rather. Sorry.
I think Sorber with this team might fit better because you did go with a guard prior, and you pick up a big, and you're able to play Wemby at the 4 and put Sorber at the 5. And I see this going those two directions, and it's difficult to really make a decision. And like, you couldn't put me in the shoes of any GM because I would just see so many benefits in both of them.
You don't think you'd make a good GM, George?
I don't. I don't. Put me in the league. I would have went pro if it wasn't for that bum knee.
That bum knee, yeah.
I've also been seeing a lot about Joan Behringer, and he's huge. He's massive. He worked out with San Antonio this past week.
Really?
So
okay.
He's been someone I've been looking at because of how big he is.
7 feet 235.
Yeah,
Jesus.
He's huge. And apparently he grew within the last year. So
oh, God.
That's like another thing, a late bloomer, I guess. But he's massive. He's coming from France. So, a little bit interesting. He'll have to adapt to being, in the U.S. and playing here. But I think to have him alongside Victor Wembanyama would be incredible. Another big around the rim. So I think they'll go for a big, whether that's, this guy, Behringer, or if it's Sorber. I think a big is really a great pick for the Spurs tonight.
You can't bring up French players with Trey around or he'll have a little freak out.
No, Behringer is an enticing pick. Not only would you be teaming up two French guys together, which I think would make
two
for really
massive
fun.
French guys.
Yeah.
Two
beasts of French
that
guys.
could span from Paris to Nice with their wingspan, right?
That was a Madi Dembele-esque cliche there.
Go on, no, that was no disrespect to Madi. Actually, that's a goat. right there. Berenger, he's one of the more raw prospects, but I think that profiles well. This is a Spurs team that has some center depth, if you could call Jeremy Sochan your backup center.
No.
So he's someone that can develop behind a guy like Victor Wembanyama and a couple of these other front court pieces. He could probably give you some minutes to start out. He's seen as a little bit more of a project. I actually really like that pick for the Spurs, and I think it makes sense considering where they're at.
Is in.
The pick is in. Doesn't seem like the Spurs are going to trade here. We thought that maybe there was a chance that
I would have put the house on the Spurs trading this 14 pick.
On it.
I'm being so
Mr.
genuine.
Mr. GM here would have put the house on it.
Would have put the house on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely not a good GM.
I
Sounding like.
I don't even know who the Spurs GM is, but whoever they were tuning into the WFUV Sports NBA Draft Supershow. And heard George Sfouggatakis say that he would have bet the house on trading the pick and said, "I'm keeping the."
Charlotte is acquiring Vasily Micic from in their pick that sent the Kaman Malowicz trade.
In the trade, okay.
Charlotte is acquiring Micic.
Okay.
Who was traded to Phoenix in the Yusuf Nurkic trade.
Oh wow! How about that? So he's just flopping teams
just going
back and
right
forth.
back.
That's hilarious. Oh my goodness.
I know that's not not very groundbreaking information.
It's not, but I love those little wrinkles in trades where you had to look at a guy's career path and be like, damn.
Yeah, I mean, the Spurs just drafted Dylan Harper, so they've got that small,
they're not going Jonas.
really fast guy. I'm convinced it's going to be Sorber or Beringer.
I think the pick is being announced as we speak, is it not?
Spurs select Carter Bryant.
They picked up a 3.
Oh, wow.
The 3 and D for the San Antonio Spurs.
I was not expecting that.
I like that for him though. I do.
Yeah,
really
that's definitely
like
a good choice.
I would have expected him to maybe go a little bigger, but that works very much.
Yeah, I thought with that pick with
Bryant
they would have
Dylan Harper.
Yeah, with Dylan Harper.
Yeah.
They would have gone for someone a little bit bigger, but I mean they know what they're doing. I'm sure it'll work out, but because he's great. He's great, you know?
Not said with a ton of confidence.
I mean, I'm like
but I do think what
they have a big, so I understand why they didn't go for a big. They've got Wembanyama, but I would have expected they go for like a second guy to go behind him.
I think what this signals, if it wasn't already obvious, is that the Spurs are ready to contend. They get the most NBA ready guys.
Yeah, they're the two
Someone
of the
that
best.
Fills a spot who can be your backup small forward on day one, who can play off the ball, who can defend 1 through 5 if needed. He's 6'7", he has enough length to do that. Yeah. This is a guy that I'm pretty high on, and I think the Spurs may have just won the trade if they hadn't already making that slam dunk pick with Dylan Harper.
This is now when everything gets disgusting. Because with the 15th pick in the NBA draft, the reigning champions, who are going to rule the league for arguably the next decade, are on the clock.
Yeah.
Which is just terrifying because they have such a high pick, and they have these picks for years on end because Sam Presti is a wizard and cast a spell upon the league in his favor. So, OKC, where do we go?
I was thinking another big.
I was thinking similar.
Yeah, I mean, but so again, similar to what we were just talking about, Sorber or Beringer would be good
Sorber,
options.
Beringer, the two guys I have written down.
They were my guys for both the Thunder.
But you have to think Jonas is still available too. I don't think they go small.
I mean, he's a good size, but I
Liam
don't
McNeely.
think he's the kind of guy that I would go for as, with the Thunder. They have a lot of fast-playing young guys. I think they're going to go big with this pick.
Knockdown shooter and Liam McNeely, though.
I feel like McNeely here would be a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
I think he could figure into the rotation. I mean, their rotation's so good. For me, the one hole in their rotation.
Is anybody fitting in their rotation right now?
If you were to draft a center, you could go with
the
a guy
backup
who
Hartenstein.
can be a backup right now in Thomas Sorber, but you could also go with a guy in Beringer that's more of a project that can play behind even Jalen Williams at backup center and develop on a championship roster. I think that fit is really enticing for the Thunder, who, as we talked about, don't really have any glaring needs. I think they will get by just fine with this bench unit, which is comparable to some of the worst starting fives in the league. So I think that they're just fine. They have
This team is just so good. This team is just too
crazy.
good.
I mean,
They're
so
They're
good.
so
They have
good.
third stringers that should be second stringers. They have second stringers that
Yeah.
should be starters. Their starters just won the championship.
The
I mean,
fact that
Yeah,
they
yeah.
have
This
pick
is diabolical. This
insane.
is crazy.
Yeah.
Sam Presti's a wizard, and he was looking to trade up earlier in the night, which is just terrifying. Because this team.
I know they were looking to trade up, which is insane.
I sent it to WFUV alumnus Angel Ducret because he is one of the Thunder fans at the station, and he just started tweaking out. He was very excited to see that, but they did not trade up, and they have a minute left on the clock,
but
which
pick
means
15
5
is
minutes.
so good for them, no matter what. That's such a great pick.
it's ridiculous.
Like the fact that
This is. I mean, we talk about
it's
the Pacers
upsetting.
having devil magic.
Yeah.
Sam Presti, I mean, he deserves his flowers for how he's played his cards here because
Yeah.
it's all coming together now. This is the best team in the league. It wasn't really close. They have so many pieces that we don't even know who they should draft because everywhere they're strong. And yeah, they have 2 picks in the first round. That's going to be the story for them for the next decade, it feels like, as the rich get richer, and deservedly so. I mean, they went through enough to get to this point.
They did.
Yes.
This is all coming back after KD left them.
Yeah.
KD left. No, I see that there are 20 seconds left on the clock.
20 seconds left on the clock. They still haven't locked in their pick, which tells you, and this is, I mean, it would be the most Sam Presti thing ever if they were to trade this pick. But considering how deep this team is, if the person that they're eyeing is someone that they could get later in the draft, perhaps with the number 24 pick, which they already own, you could see them trading this pick for future firsts.
Which is
I don't
terrifying.
think that would be
Absolutely
totally
terrifying.
outrageous. I mean, it would be a little frustrating for any other NBA fan,
Yeah.
but I don't think that that's out of the realm of possibility here. But we'll find out in just a second.
Yep.
The pick is in,
Oh.
and now we wait for
Silver to walk
for
out.
Silver to walk out, which is bad.
We're just gonna twiddle our thumbs.
Yeah,
for a
just
little
twiddle our
bit, you know?
thumbs, play some solitaire as we wait.
Now, we have a little bit of a lull here. Did Adam Silver have a playing career?
He did not have a playing career, I don't believe. I think
Let's look
he
this
went
one up.
right to he was a lawyer. Adam Silver was a lawyer.
Lifelong basketball enthusiast. He just like me for real. Grew up attending New York Knicks games. George Sfouggatakis.
I might be Adam Silver. I just don't
Knicks
want to end up.
loyalties.
I just never want to end up looking like that.
Well. He did not play at a high level. Okay, AI. I'd like to see you with a basketball in your hands, or in the NBA. Instead, his career path led him to a successful career in law and eventually into leadership roles within the NBA. Thank you, Mr. I.
Yeah, and Duke University alumnus.
University.
He has beef with Chris Carrino. That means Chris Carrino.
Mr.
our
UNC.
Mr. UNC belt buckle who chooses to flex it every time that he has it.
This guy.
Frat guy. That's nice. I could picture Adam Sandler being a frat bro.
Adam Sandler, yeah.
Yeah.
You mean Silver?
Adam Silver.
I mean, Sandler is a
Get
hooper.
Sandler as the
Sandler is
Adam
a
Sandler.
hooper.
Adam
of the
Sandler for
NBA.
commissioner. Adam
The
Sandler
Thunder
for commissioner.
It's I say this facetiously, but genuinely the Thunder are so good that they could draft Adam Sandler and it would be a good thing for their franchise.
100%.
Yes.
All it would do is bring more publicity. The team is good
Yes.
enough. They don't really have any holes. It's perfect. It's a match made in heaven. So your Freudian slip just became the Thunder's newest draft pick.
With the 15th pick in the 2025 NBA draft, the Oklahoma City Thunder select Adam Sandler out of some random movie university.
He's the perfect personality hire. He's the kind
Yeah.
of guy that you want on your
They should
team.
they should have
just
him running
because
the All-Star game.
Yes.
Over Kevin Hart and whatever the debauchery was this year.
The boss is crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're absolutely right. Because this is also he's a hooper at heart. I mean, Kevin Hart probably is too, but he's
He's hey. He's
Hey,
only, he's,
I
he-
mean,
hey, hey,
he's- I
hey,
mean,
hey,
I
he's
mean,
only he's only like 2 inches shorter than me. So
only.
only.
There you go.
Yeah, it makes me feel so nice and tall.
Oh
See,
my
you should be
gosh.
happy that Kevin Hart's hosting. This is what the NBA draft show has devolved into as Adam Silver continues to take his sweet time. Really, the Spurs
He's so
and the Thunder
slow.
continue to take their
Oh my
sweet time.
gosh.
I
Yeah,
guess
it's
not really his fault.
it's already 9:50. The
Well,
draft has been on for
is
an hour and 52 minutes.
It also, yeah.
And we're 15 picks through. Like
I would
what is
say
going on here?
it's
Why did the Thunder
9:52.
have another first round pick? They have the 20.
They have the 24,
Yes,
man.
they have the
I'm telling you, they
24th.
got the 24. They got every pick you could think
They're
of.
only getting better. They're only gonna get better.
This is brutal.
The pick is in. Adam Silver's about to go on the stage here. This is gonna be the last pick that we cover tonight.
Unfortunately. Oh, I could spoil the pick.
The
I
Oklahoma
could
City
spoil it.
Thunder select Thomas Sorber. from
Okay,
Georgia.
yeah.
Wow.
Sorber
This is
off the
this
board.
is nice. This is nice.
Yeah.
This is fantastic.
The rich get richer.
The rich get richer and the poor suffer.
Another big.
We have a crier. Thomas Sorber is crying.
Oh my gosh, our first crier of the night.
Our second crier. Come on, Malawach.
Okay, yeah,
Malawach was in tears.
That's a good
But this is
thing.
nice. This is good. And
I can't believe this. Sorber's
This
a
is
guy I'm
brutal.
really high on. His fundamentals are so nice to watch. It's like the perfect college prospect. When I watched March Madness, and the Hoyas were not in March Madness this year, but this is the kind of basketball I love to watch. Someone who plays a traditional brand that might not translate perfectly to the NBA right away, but who's so savvy, has such a high basketball IQ that you know his game is going to translate eventually, and he gets to develop on an OKC roster that doesn't need him to produce big numbers on day one, but that has all the talent in the world for him to learn from.
he does seem like a very NBA-ready player with Sorber.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't seem like he needs much time to develop. He is a little undersized at only 6'9". Only 6'9". I wish I was 6'9". But very underdeveloped. He doesn't need much development, but a relatively undersized center. But he's a banger.
But his wingspan's like 7'6".
Yeah,
That's
which is crazy.
Guy.
Yeah. He's a beast of a human being, and he's a very smart player. One thing I noticed is that he has basketball IQ. Watching him play, which makes the Thunder 10 times better. Like they already have all the IQ that you could ever want in from the front office all the way down 1 through 12, but just growing that will just make them a much more solid team.
And it feels like the most common gripe for centers that are draft prospects is their basketball IQ, that they haven't developed the wherewithal to know when to pass out after an offensive
Alex
rebound,
Sarr is a prime example.
or know
of one
when
of those.
to help, or know how to rotate backside to box out the guy that was just left open after a play was run. Sorber's a guy who you don't really have to worry about that. I mean, he went to Georgetown. Georgetown's a great academic school, but it's also the school of centers in the NCAA. This is where so many
Alonzo Mourning, Patrick
greats
Ewing
went to play, and Sorber has a chance now on a Thunder team that is loaded. It's going to be a long road for him to join that list. It's going to be
there's a chance he plays in the G League next year when you look at that team.
Yeah, and you don't hate that for him. It's rare to see a lottery pick do that, but also that's a place where he can grow his skills.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's still a long night ahead. We're only halfway through the first round of the NBA draft, and we're already running up on time now. We've got to book it out of the studio here at 10 p.m., so we're going to have to say so long. This was the WFUV Sports NBA Draft Super Show. Joe Henry joined by George Sfouggatakis, Kate Cox, Owen Kelty, Trey Rodriguez, our NBA Draft Correspondents, Chris Carrino, and Bobby Chaffardini. And as the music plays, we're going to say so long. Have a great rest of your night and enjoy this draft where memories are going to be made for a lifetime. It's going to be something that we look back on for a long time. Thanks so much for joining us, and take care.
Let's go Knicks.
Go Celtics! Go.